Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. You can hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, nice, nice. Here, let me share my screen. How are you doing today?
Good, good. How about yourself? How did that tournament go?
Unfortunately, ended 7-3. I think two of my losses were completely out of my control. I'm like
Yeah.
100% sure of it. And then one of the losses I threw on the very last turn. So, you live and you
Oh,
learn.
jeez.
It's all good.
Yeah. Did you use Doffy or
Yeah, yeah,
did
I
you
played
use?
Dofi, of course. Yeah, for sure.
Gotcha.
Best deck. I'm the type of person where I'll always play the best deck. So
That's how I am too.
yeah,
I guess that's why I went immediately to Doffy. I guess is my first deck to build and everything.
yeah. It's the best deck, no question. I don't even think it's close. Anything else right now is troll. So definitely Dofi
Yeah.
is the way.
No, that's what I'm hoping for, man.
hmm Yeah. So you said you wanted to start with the Shanks loss, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with Shanks, but it's like sometimes like I don't know if it's just the hand that I get, but it's some losses I'm like I don't know what the hell I did
hmm
because I feel like I know the Shanks deck in and out just because my brother plays it. But I don't know, sometimes I just find myself like, dude, I don't know even know what to look for at times.
hmm hmm Is there okay? So I guess I'll respond to that first.
Yeah.
Shanks is definitely a I would consider it a pretty good matchup for us for sure, no doubt about that.
hmm
I will say something that what is going on with my Discord? What is
Yeah, because I'm pretty confident in it. It's just sometimes like when they throw two railies, I just feel like I'm in just like a really bad situation when they get the two railies or because usually anytime I know what's that one blocker that takes it out. Forget the
the
name of
Lucky
it.
Roo?
I usually bounce that pretty quick. So I guess the problem with Shanks is like sometimes when to be too aggressive and when to, or it's like even sometimes first hand, like
Mm-hmm.
what to mulligan and what not to.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So for sure, the 6K bodies are like the most important thing. So we want to go first. I'm sure you know that.
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
want to go first. Teach, I would say typically if you see Teach,
hmm
especially going first and they're not able to out it, like with Red Hawk or even a Marco on 5 can be okay sometimes, or on 6 sometimes can be okay. If they can't out the Teach, you should almost always be winning those games.
Yeah.
The 6K bodies are pretty important. The boas and the weevils. Jimbei obviously super important.
hmm
Most aren't playing Lucky Roo. It's kind of 50-50 from what I've seen. So sometimes
Yeah.
Law can be impactful just because if you're able to bounce that Lucky Roo, if they do play it, then it's phenomenal. Obviously, like actually is like earth shattering for them because they wasted,
Yeah.
basically their entire turn playing it and you got rid of it for nothing.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think like the one last part with Shanks is it's that Red Hawk at times too.
mhm,
I usually just don't play because I feel like a lot of players that I do play, they bluff it a lot. So
mhm,
I'll play, I don't even care for it. Like if they take one out, it's just I can build it back pretty quick.
mhm,
I think
mhm.
that's the mindset.
Yeah, I would say definitely if you can avoid like your 5Ks getting popped by it, that's fine. But like if they're gonna pop your teach, there's nothing you can do about it, and you just have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, I haven't seen exactly how you play this or how this game goes,
Yeah.
but something that I think a lot of players don't see is that so we'll see if this happens at all. It happened even in my treasure cup literally just now. Is there's a lot of game states where the Shanks has to counter super aggressively, right? And they go down to like 4 cards in hand or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, and when they do that, depending on the board state, they'll be at like 3, maybe 4 life, maybe even 5 life. Who knows, right? Sometimes you have a really, really weak start, and they
hmm
just counter your leader effect every single turn, and you're not able to get traction. A
Yeah.
lot of the times in those game states, you actually want to swap to going to board. Um,
Okay.
because if they're really low on cards in hand, if you think about it, you're going to be able to play a character for 1 Dawn every single turn. Like if you have access to Perona or Teach or whatever.
That's
Um,
true.
it's something to spot. Hopefully it comes up in this game. If it doesn't come up in this game, maybe I'll even be able to pull up a little bit of side material or something. Like, because as I said, this literally just came up to me in the Treasure Cup, and it actually does come up fairly often. But it's
Okay.
something to be really keen to look out for.
Hmm.
Like plan A, absolutely, is to just kill the Shanks.
Yeah.
And I would say generally that's always what we want to be looking for versus Shanks. We don't want to swing at board. We absolutely do not want to swing at board. But in the
Yeah,
cases where we,
usually I don't because I feel like once I kill, like if I beat Shanks, I'm beating them like 4-0. Like they have
hmm
nothing on their board and I have four at least life left. Like because they're just
hmm
so focused on my board.
yeah, exactly. We definitely plan A is not swinging at their board. We just need to ignore their board and try and kill them. But again, there are some games where it's we we just don't see what we need to see, and sometimes you end up doing like I've won games versus Shanks, and this sounds fucking insane, where I
Mhm.
swing 14 at arrested 10 Shanks and I kill it. Like it
Jeez.
sounds crazy, but
Okay.
like
Was not
like
expecting that. Yeah.
yeah. Like no, like literally I've won games with that before where it's like they uber starve themselves by trying to counter everything, and it's like, okay, if you're going to do that, you can only play one thing a turn. I'm just going to swing at it really big, and my leader effect is going to establish me something for free. And if I ever hit a Jinbei, now I have a body that gets to stick that you don't get to. And my bodies are also going to help me go plus, right? Like if you play a body and then I end up eventually swinging into that body probably didn't generate you a card. Whereas if I play something like a Weevil or a Gecko, it will generate me a card.
Okay.
Um, but again, that's a little bit more of a fringe thing, but it's definitely something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah.
Um, but is there, even outside of Shanks, just in general, is there anything about Doflamingo or the metagame or anything that you have questions or you wanted to know about or anything you weren't sure about? Just before we step more into the technical play side of the session, like just kind of more of theory. It could be deck
Yeah.
list, it could be anything.
I think for the deck list, I kid you not, I'm just a copycat. I copied off of you. I know
hmm
in some video I found that I've been using yours, and ever since I have, I've been doing okay in the sim. Like
hmm
usually when I'm doing the bounty stuff, I'll win one, lose one, win one, lose one. It's always back and forth.
hmm
So I just think it's sometimes the plays that I do that I don't know where I went wrong, or
hmm
I know it's definitely a knowledge thing because I don't know every deck list
hmm
100% and what to really expect, but. Um, yeah, I don't really have anything off the top of my head.
Okay, that's fine. If you think of anything, that's we'll jump into that for sure at any point. Feel free to ask any sort of questions. But if you
Cool.
don't have anything on top of your mind right now, we can just hop into the gameplay.
Yeah, something will pop up. But
All right.
also too, I want to thank you for at least taking the time, coaching stuff like that. I know you said in your first YouTube video or whatever that you don't recommend it, but
Mhm.
I've been watching every single one of yours. I'm like, hey, I want to see if I can take my game to the next step. So
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. And my takeaway or what I tried to convey in that video is not necessarily that it's not worth it. Like I do think that my time with Jonas, with Impact, with everyone, was helpful. It's just their prices are so expensive. I think for like any regular person, it just doesn't make sense. Like I don't think you can.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I hit you up. I was like, oh, he's gonna charge so much. I was like, oh, okay, never mind. You're
No,
pretty
no,
cool.
no, no, no. I just try to charge like really for me, I would rather someone pick the video option. Like I'd rather be able to make a video off of it for the 40 an hour than the 50.
Yeah.
Like really the only reason why I even say the 50 is cuz I want people to pick the video option. And it makes it
Yeah,
look better, like
I
no
don't
cap.
I don't mind at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I did have someone choose the non-video option, and
Yeah.
low key I'm a little sad about it because that session was like really really
Really
good, and I
good.
think I helped him a lot, and he's already like booked a future session with me. So it's like I wish I, but some people they want to keep it in house, so I get it.
No, I agree. So
All right, so yeah, let's hop into this. Okay, so we won rock paper scissors. We chose to go first. Okay, so when you see this stack, what are you
yeah.
thinking? So I guess did we get to see if you mulliganed or not? Maybe we went too fast. Here, let's actually go. Okay, so you didn't mulligan. How are you
If I
feeling? How are you feeling about this starting?
I feel pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
I know for the Shanks, I've noticed that sometimes the perfumes really don't help me,
Mm-hmm.
or sometimes the gravity blades really don't help me unless it's like a trigger and I could just get somebody out real quick. If I see a Perona, if I see at least one Perona and a Jinbei, I think I'm happy. And then at least another Warlord character like a Gecko, because I know if I happen to just lose the Jinbei pretty much off rip, I could get him back pretty quick. But if I see a Perona, I'm feeling pretty confident in it.
Yeah, I will say in almost every matchup going first, if I see Perona plus Jinbei, almost regardless of what the other three cards are, like sometimes the other three cards are like literally so awful you can't afford to keep.
Yeah.
But like 95% of the times, I think just Perona Jinbei going first, you just keep.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with it. Yep. Okay. So we see this. Walk me through what you're thinking here.
I think the play I did is I definitely kept Teach on top just so I
Mhm.
could pull him next, so I
Mhm.
could use the Jinbei on the next turn. And then I think I just order. I definitely was just thinking about the Teach, and I think the next play I set up either the Weevil. I think the Weevil just so I could have the Mihawk as a 2K. So I could set it up for the next play without using a Teach, like my leader effect, so I could use double.
And just as we go forward in the session, it sounded like you were wording to me just now what you did at the time. I don't want you to try to remember when I ask you like what are you thinking. I don't want you to try to
Okay.
walk me through what you did in that moment. I want you to walk
Okay.
me through your current process. Like you
Oh yeah,
see
the
this
current.
5 right now. What do you
Yeah.
think you should do?
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to keep the Teach on the outside so I could use the leader effect next because I know you can't use the Jinbei with just 4 Don, so I'm able to use that. Pick the Jozu up off the draw next, um, and then the Weevil I could use for the next play. But then I would move the Gravity Blade in front so when I use the Weevil I could pick up the Gravity Blade.
Okay, so you want to go. Okay, so you want this first card to be Teach,
Yeah,
and then you want the second card to be what?
that could still be Jozu because I'll
Okay.
pick that up off of the draw. Like when I draw a reset hand. I think that's
Okay.
what the term's called when I'm resetting the hand, and then off the leader effect, off the next play, that's like 2 plays from now. I could use the Weevil, and then it picks up the Gravity Blade.
Okay, so you want to go on 3 Dawn, play the Teach?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I think that that is a huge mistake.
Okay.
And the reason for that, there's a few different reasons. I love sticking Teach on 3. Like, that feels phenomenal. But first of all, that feels like a little bit of a pipe dream because, you know, did this player mulligan? They did not mulligan. So if I see a Shanks and they don't mulligan, especially after you don't mulligan, a lot
Yeah.
of the times I'm gonna assume they have the Red Hawk.
Okay.
So this Teach is just gonna die. Also, the other thing to think about is with this hand, we don't even have anything good to play. Like we go Teach, and then the Teach plays the Jinbei, and then the Teach, and then the Jinbei plays like a vanilla 5, which like this card
Yeah.
is in this matchup in particular. There's a few matchups where Gecko really excels. It's like this Lucci, any deck that's trying to remove your characters, having that Gecko just to reload um, is
So
so.
instead of just putting the extra body on there, I should have had it as a reload because Shanks is definitely just going to want to control my board.
He's 100% gonna want to control your board.
Okay.
So yeah, 100%. I think there's no debate. The way this should be ordered is you can draw the Teach, that's fine, but you need to be
Yeah.
hitting the Weevil, and then the Weevil should be drawing the Mihawk, and then the Jozu after that, and then depending on how things play out, it's even possible we'll end up Perona on 5. It's possible we'll see how things shake out from there, but it's even possible we'll play Perona on 5 because this Gravity Blade should theoretically just be dead like so often.
Yeah.
that like we don't even want to draw this. Like if we can get into a situation where we can Sengoku and throw it on the bottom, or Perona just keep pushing it far and farther back,
Hmm.
um, that would be really good for us.
Okay.
So yeah, so like right here, most of the time, what I would say should end up happening is you go play Weevil off the top of your deck. You draw the Mihawk, and then a huge percentage of the time, they're just gonna swing 9 at your Weevil,
Yeah.
and you're just gonna have to let that go. You don't have the counter, and
Yeah.
then that kind of gives us an option. We can either play Teach, and Teach can then go Jinbei Moria,
Jinbei. Okay. Okay.
or we can Perona and try to get lucky. I think either one is okay. I think I would probably lean towards um, maybe the Jinbei Gecko, but I don't even hate playing Perona there, to be quite frank, because this Gravity Blade is such an awful draw.
Yeah.
Um, and even grabbing the Weevil, well, we'll be on 5 Dawn. Even grabbing the Weevil isn't like the greatest thing ever. I think actually thinking about it more, I on 5, I 100% would play Perona. And the reason for that is that in that situation on 7, we could go Jinbei, Moria, even like regardless of what the Perona sees. Like maybe the Perona sees something that's cracked, but even regardless of what it sees, we would be
Hmm.
able to go Jinbei on 7. We'd be able to go like Jinbei, Moria, Moria grab back Weevil, and then play Teach, and then the Teach would be able to play the Weevil. So that way we avoid this dead draw of this
Hmm.
Gravity Blade. Um, and on 5, we'll just play like whatever off the top of our deck, depending on what the Perona sees. Um,
Okay.
and then like that way we have a really strong 7 Dawn turn. Our 5 Dawn turn isn't like phenomenal, but like the truth is like this stack saw like it saw Weevil, which is really great. But then
Yeah.
like the Jozu kind of sucks. The Gravity Blade kind of sucks. The Mihawk is like a 2K, which is fine. We want to see 2Ks, but like if there's 2 other cards that are really awful, then like
Hmm.
the 2K doesn't feel that good. And then like the Teaches is fine, but is less good because it's off Perona. Um, is there anything I said there that you have concerns about or questions about, something you're not sure about?
No, it makes sense to me when you put it like that because sometimes I notice any playstyle I do, I tend to only use Teach in the beginning. I don't use him late game. I think like maybe one game I did. I don't know if it's in the L's that I sent you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I get sometimes scared to use Teach because I'm just burning, technically not burning a card, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm lessening my hand strength.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. Which something I don't know, like how early into post structure deck Doffy you really looked into, but something to
Hmm.
keep in mind is that like the Eastern players for months didn't even play Teach, and the reason was they were so scared of burning their hand. And that is kind of true. If you see like an opening 5 like this, if you
Yeah.
play Teach and then Teach stacks Jinbei and then Jinbei plays this Moria, like your hand is just burned. Like you're actually like you have 2 cards in your hand, right? And you're just like Omega bad.
Yeah.
Like Teach
Hmm.
is really strong in the early game if you pair it with like Weevils
I can get you a
or
card back.
yeah. If
Okay.
if if like the first time you play Teach, you're not going plus in some way.
Hmm.
Like if you're not playing like a Weevil to draw you a card, or sometimes it's in a lot of matchups like versus Ploofy, something that comes up literally all the time is you like
Yeah.
you play Teach, you play Sengoku, you play Jinbei, Jinbei plays Law, Law bounces your Sengoku and then bounces their 4 drop. Like in that sort of situation, sure it sounds like you played a lot of cards from your hand, but like
Hmm.
bouncing the Sengoku back, you're reloading, and also you're removing a threat from your opponent's board, which in an abstract way is giving you cards, right? Because if that card is still on the board, it's going to demand a card from you every turn. Um, Whereas by removing it, you're not going to be demanded of that card every turn. So
Okay.
Teach early game, a lot of the times you're really going to want to see it with things that somehow generate you card advantage. And later in the game, you can pretty freely play it kind of whenever if you see a spot. But there are also a lot of times where later in the game, if you don't already have the Teach on board, um, where You might just it might just be in your hand, and you might just counter with it. Like Teach is super strong. The statistics say that Teach is like an overwhelmingly very strong card. If you look at on OP Bounty, the statistics,
Yeah.
people who in their opening five have Teach in their opening five, like their win rate is like really crazy. Like Teach and
Really?
Perona have the highest win rates in the game for opening five. It's like 60% or something insane like that. So like Teach is a really strong card, but especially when we play Perona, like if you think about it, like the purpose of Perona is to play something off the top of your deck. So that way you go hand neutral, right? Like you play one Perona, but the Perona lets you play something off the top of your deck. So like really you didn't actually play any cards from your hand if you think about it in that way.
True.
Whereas like if you go Perona and then all Perona does is help you play Teach, and then Teach stacks something from your hand, so you didn't even play anything off the Perona. Now all of a sudden our hand is looking like super neg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm hoping based on the way you stacked this, maybe you will. I'm thinking you're not gonna play the Weevil. Also, there's like no reason to ever draw the Gravity Blade there, regardless of what our play was. First of all, oh, see, you do play the.
Oh, I did.
There we go.
I had,
That's good.
honestly, yep, I had no idea.
That's great. I'm glad you did. However, drawing this Gravity Blade is super awful.
I think the reason I did that was to get the I don't know, those bounce card, I don't know, the two cards out of the way. I think that's why I did it.
Okay. I think honestly what I think you're thinking, based on the way that it looks like you're stacking this, I kind of think your plan is to leader effect the Mihawk on 5. We'll see. Oh no, never mind. I lied. That's not even your plan. I don't know. I don't really know.
I think honestly, I think it was. I think I just forgot. Like, oh, Weevil picks up a card, and I was like, oh, damn.
Whenever you,
I wanted to put it out.
Whenever, and see, he's just swinging 9, which is exactly what I would expect. Okay, so we're in this spot. I guess we already talked about what you should do. I think it's probably Perona, to be honest. I think the other nice thing about Perona is it potentially sets us up for a Jozu on 9. We're probably never doing that, but it's theoretically possible. Yeah, so I think it probably should be Perona here, just because it sets up for like a pretty decent 7 Dawn turn. But if you end up playing like these 3 cards, I'm also fine with it. I think that's not what you end up doing. Okay. I think this is generally okay because you are making it so he has to give you a card. I don't hate it. It does mean that he pretty freely counters out and he stays at 5. Which means we are kind of setting ourselves up for a potentially later a game state where he ends up super starved.
I think that's the reason why I at least swung for one is just to get a card out of his hand.
For sure. I think this is, if we're not going to do the Perona, I think this is perfectly reasonable, honestly. And what it would allow us to do is swing 3 7s next turn, which is pretty reasonable. It feels worse when he does this. Okay, so when we're here, what are you thinking?
I think I'm going to swing. It depends what I have. 8 Dawn.
Or you're on 7 now.
7. I think I'm swinging for 6 or 7s. Or no, I'm swinging for 7s each hand. And then I think I'm going to throw the Perona right before... I would throw the Perona right before I could do my leader effect so I could get another body on the board. So at least 2 7s, throw the Perona. I don't know if I have enough Dawn. Or I would do at least a 6, see if he does a leader effect. But I would attack definitely first. And it kind of depends on... Or I might just swing all 3 in blind leader effect. I don't... I mean, you kind of told me before, so now I would throw the Perona first.
Well, you don't have to blind. You can always go teach into Weevil here.
Teach. True. Yeah, so I think I would attack both sevens up top, at least with the Jinbei Gecko. Then I would throw the Teach, put the Weevil on top, do the leader effect. So at least I'm getting at least 3 solid swings in, at least burning maybe 3 cards or take at least 1 life, 2 life, however he wants to take the life. Then I'll get the Weevil out there. That's what I would do right now. And then if I have an extra, yeah, throw the Perona. If I don't, I wouldn't throw the Perona. I'd wait till next turn.
So next turn he's going to 8. So we would expect a Rayleigh a huge percentage of the time. Me personally, I think there's one of 2 things we can do. We can either do 3 sevens and go teach, play, Weevil. I think that play is very valid. But honestly, I kind of like the idea in this exact spot, and it is a semi-unique spot a little bit. I think I would just swing 6 with leader and then just play Jozu, bounce this Perona, bounce this Yasop, and not even swing these. Because then what that does is he's going to play... he's going to counter out of it, almost for sure. He just has to use leader skill, and that's like semi-annoying, but it's fine.
And that's why I don't think I would swing that for 6, because he would just leader effect right out, and it's kind of like a dud at that point. I would try to make it like, I think that's why I said I would try to swing for sevens, so every swing matters.
Yeah,
that's just what my thought process is.
For sure, but like, so like, let's think about the line where we go like 7, 7, 7, and then go teach, play, Weevil, for example. Right?
Yeah.
So if we do that, a lot of the times what's going to happen is like, so he can either play Rayleigh, and if he plays Rayleigh, we're losing 2 characters guaranteed.
Yeah.
We'll lose like probably the Weevil and then like one of these 5s. Or he could play Newgate, and the Newgate is basically the same thing because the Newgate will attach this Yasop, and he'll get to swing 7 into 4 and then 5 into 4, and there's just no way we can counter out of both of those, and then he gets to Newgate, pop our thing. I think this Yasop, I don't love Jozu in this matchup typically, but I think because we already didn't really pressure him, I think just building the board for this moment and then swinging bigger next turn, I think is probably what I would like to see here. It is pretty close. I just think what ends up happening when he's a 6K leader is we go like 7 and he gives us like a 2K, and then we go 7 and he leader effects and gives us a 1K, and then we go 7 and then he takes and he's at 4 life. He draws for turn and he still has 6 cards in hand. So he's like 4 life, 6 cards in hand, and he still has this Yasop, and then he retakes the board, and like we haven't actually pressured his life very much, and we don't really have like very much gas after that, right? So like if we do this, teach Weevil, and let's say this Weevil doesn't draw us anything that good, like we don't have reasons to believe that we're going to be able to continue to keep playing. So I think since we've kind of had this like semi weird start, it's like not that unusual, but it's just kind of weird because our hand has like a bunch of awful cards in it, right? Like we have,
it does.
we have like 2/2Ks which don't feel good to play. We have like this Perfume that's going to be dead the whole game. We have this Gravity Blade that's dead the whole game. I really do think I would prefer to Jozu, and honestly, we actually don't even have to swing 6 here. I think we just replay the Perona the more I think about it, and then just kind of
Jozu Perona.
Yeah, Jozu Perona, I think. And we don't even swing. Like, we just say, like, this kind of sucks. We're in not a great spot, but, like, it's okay. Like, he's going to have no board. He's going to swing into our life. We're going to go down to 3. And, like, we'll get to see this card, and we'll also get to see our top 5. So we'll have, like, a ton of knowledge about where to go next. And he's, at most, going to be able to remove one of our bodies, right?
Yeah.
But let's see what you do. I think like everything feels like fine. Like nothing feels great. Like unfortunately this Perona just doesn't find us anything that's helping. What are you thinking when you see this Perona?
Let me see what we got.
Mm,
Like immediately, my head wants to go to definitely put the law on top,
Mm-hmm.
just so I could get the Peronas back.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't bounce his Yasop right now. So if I do the blind leader effect, or no, if I do the
Only
leader
if you play
effect,
Jozu. You can bounce it if you play Jozu.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. If I do the leader effect, I'm bouncing the Peronas if I don't play the Jozu,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just all I'm really looking for right there. And then I guess the next play too. Um, I don't really like the rest. Maybe just to have the 2K, maybe have the buggy just closer, just so it's a 2K counter. But I think I leave the Croc
Mm-hmm.
in that place where it's at right now because that's a 2K. So I think how it is in order right there, I would leave it.
Yeah, so something that a lot of Doflamingo players seem to really not like doing is they never want to bottom deck with Perona. I see this stack, and something I want you to always think about yourself when you see a stack is this gonna help me win the game? Are these two 2Ks, these two laws in this pudding, are they gonna help you win? Like, do you actually think these cards are gonna help you as the Doflamingo player? Like, do you think if the Shanks saw this stack, he would be scared, or he would be like, "Oh, thank God, I hope you draw those 5 cards."
he'd be kind of licking his chops at that point.
He would be so
Yeah.
thrilled. He would be shaking your hand, thanking you. Thank you for keeping this on top. Because I don't care about any of those cards. None of those are Jinbei. None of those are Weevil.
Mhm.
None of those are Boa. Like, they're just awful. So I actually really like that you played Perona first, because it does give us some options.
Mhm.
But as soon as you saw this stack, I think you have to be willing to pivot and say, this stack sucks. I'm not going to leader effect this turn. I'm going to put these to bottom, and I'm going to play Jozu, and I'm going to pass.
I think the reason why I usually, yeah, so you're honestly 100% right. I usually never bottom deck my stuff because I don't, like in this situation, I don't have another searcher. So I don't know, because I always thought with Doffy, you got to build your board as fast as you can. So now I know, hey, I could throw at least 2 hands that I'll be able to build my board back. So I think that's why I keep it on the top.
Yeah, it's just, it's really, really imperative that you always think to yourself, and this comes up more with Boa than Perona, I would say. It does come up with Perona a lot, as seen here. And it actually comes up with Perona. It came up more in 8.5 than it does now, because in 8.5 you had bombs to find more often that were really important, like versus an L or BY or those sorts of matchups. It was really imperative that with Perona you were always bottom decking if there wasn't like a Kaido in it.
Okay.
But just generally, like Doflamingos that I always watch, they always seem like they don't want to bottom deck. But something that is really important is like, if you see 5 bad cards or you see cards that are not going to help you win the game, you just have to bottom them. Like, it doesn't feel great that you spent 1 Dawn to, not
Just bottom deck it, yeah.
to bottom deck, but like these 5 cards are just genuinely awful. They're not going to help you win this game, so you just have to do it.
Okay.
It's honestly one of the most important things with Doffy. Genuinely one of the most important that I think really separates some really good players to more average players is being able to recognize what cards are going to help you win the game. And if you see cards that are not going to help you win the game, you just have to get rid of them. You just have to say, like, everyone likes to complain, like, oh, I didn't see good cards, or oh, whatever. But the thing is with Doflamingo, it's the #1 deck that doesn't get that excuse, because you have so much searchability, so much sifting and deck manipulation. You should never have an excuse like, oh, I didn't see X card. If you didn't see X card, 95% of the time, it's your fault.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there is so many different ways you could search.
Yeah, so many. Boa, Perona, Sengoku. Like, there will be times, like, genuinely there will be times where you don't see, whatever card you need, even if you are hard sifting. Like, there's been times where I've seen, 35 cards and I haven't found Law. And it's like, I really needed Law to win this game. And that will happen. But it's, like, really, really rare. It's really, really rare. So we'll see what you do here. Law buggy. Yeah, I think if we are gonna keep on top, this is probably the correct order. Um, and then
Yeah, I'm swinging for sevens for sure.
yeah, yeah. 7, 7, 8 is good here unless we start with 7, and if he uses leader effect, then we can swing 6, 7, and if he doesn't use leader effect, then we can just swing 8. Yeah, so he uses it, so we can turn this Moria sideways. That's fine. He only has 2 attacks next turn, anyways. Oh, geez, he almost clicked perfume. I was nervous. I was nervous.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think that was fine. I'm not in love with it. I think we also got pretty fortunate that he seems kind of bricked up. Like, they play like 12, 14, 15 2Ks, so it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
He didn't give us one. But, I mean, we'll take it for sure. Yep, and he plays Rayleigh as we expected. I think... Okay, what are you thinking when he swings this?
I think it's like my gut wants to save him so bad, but I know the next hand, like the next turn, is going to be just an absolute dud with him because he's at what 3K or he's at 2K, so I'm not even going to be able to swing with him. The other thing I look at is I have a pretty big hand, and I know I probably shouldn't be burning it, but I think I burn it just to keep it because I don't have no Jinbeis coming up. So I think and especially with the 2Ks, I think I get rid of them.
Okay. So what I'll say is I think keeping this is good, probably, if this is his last swing. But it's not his last swing. He still has the Yas up. So we can never save this. We just got to let it die. Like, we can double 2K out of this, but then he's going to Yas up swing into this, and we can't give 6 cards to save a 2K Moria, right?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping you let it die here. Yeah, you do. Okay, cool. So far we're like 2 for 2, where you say something right now, and you miss the mark, but in the actual game you did it correctly. So we'll keep an eye on if that continues. Okay, so what are you liking here?
Definitely the Peronas. I'm gonna play a Perona, see at least what I could get. Hopefully it's either maybe another Jinbei in that Perona, or maybe like a Boa that I could maybe do for like a future turn. And then I think I would. It depends on what comes out of the Perona. I definitely want to get the Weevil on board just so I can get another card in hand too. And then it's like I feel like I should swing at the Usopp, but I kind of want to go at life. But I just know that they have a pretty big hand, and I feel like they would protect the Usopp, and because it's an extra
1,000 power.
It's an extra 1,000 power. I think I just would want to swing at life just to maybe burn another card, and then if they don't, I get another life, which is nice.
Yeah, so absolutely we're never swinging at the Yasop here. They need to have a way smaller hand, and we need to have like kind of a slightly larger board to be able to do that sort of thing. I think we have a few different options. We can try and Perona and get lucky. I'm completely okay with that. It does feel worse because we know 3 of the cards on top of the deck because we didn't bottom deck last turn.
That's I forgot about that. Yeah.
Alternatively, we are on 9 Dawn. So what we could do is we can poke 5 with Jinbei. He'll probably leader effect. And then we could Jozu bounce our Jinbei because Jinbei is a free bounce. And then we can teach stack Jinbei. Jinbei can play Weevil. And then next turn we would have
Jozu
Weevil standing. He'll get rid of the Jinbei. That's fine. It's even possible that maybe he gets rid of the Weevil, depending on what's in his hand. It's super possible. But we'll have at least stuck a Jozu. We'll have swung a 7 this turn, which is kind of nice because... to our knowledge, he doesn't have any 2Ks. Maybe he got one off of that last life or off of the draw for turn. I would say really we have 2 paths. We can either go to the Perona and hope to get lucky, which I feel worse about because we know the top of our deck is shit. Or at least the first 3 cards are shit. Or we can try and stick this Jozu. Again, it's kind of another situation similar to last turn where we don't have phenomenal options. But... we can kind of, try and make it work at least. But we'll see. Yeah, you play this and see. Man, and we're on a list with two femur. I'm gonna go out on a. I'm just gonna go out and say like,
Should
I
have bottom
hate
decked
to.
that.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, we
Yeah.
could have bottom decked that. So,
Yeah.
or we can play the bow off top and then bottom after that. That's
Mhm.
also possible. But something I'll say just as a deck list thing, like Jonas is the GOAT and he likes two femurs. So like, I mean, you can take this with a grain of salt. But me
Mhm.
personally, I hate femur. I think it's a bad card. Yeah, I would love
Yeah.
to live in a world where I could play zero of it. Um, Genuinely, I wish I could play zero, but you have to play one. I
Mhm.
personally really don't like two, but again, Jonas likes two, so it can be more player preference. If you like two, you can continue playing two, but I
I
personally
think
would
the
rather play
only
one.
I think the only reason why I run two, I don't know
Mhm,
where I seen it that I run two,
mhm,
but I've barely used it to win games. I think I
mhm,
won a game against Blackbeard the other day with it,
mhm.
but it's not many games that I do use it.
Yeah,
So I might go to one on
I
that.
would go to one because like even this game, man, if this perfume was just like it could be so many things, and we would just be happier.
Yeah.
We would just be happier if this perfume was not dead in our hand.
Because both of those cards are duds right now. Is
Yeah.
the Gravity Blade and that.
Yep. They're both duds, which I don't remember the most recent list I posted. I'm sure the most recent list I posted was 3 gravity blades. I'm currently on 2. I can
So
send you the list I played in the Treasure Cup today. I'm pretty happy with where the list is currently.
yeah.
So I'll send that to you for sure.
Okay. But
Um, yeah, so we'll
I
play
think
the
I do have
boa.
to get
That's
the
fine. I'm
boa.
really hoping we bottom deck here. I'm really hoping we. Yeah.
I did.
Okay, you did.
Thank
Okay,
God.
okay, okay, you did. Okay, okay.
And then I
Let's
think
go.
I'm saving for the Weevil right now.
Yeah, because I don't like just swinging because that technically puts your character at rest unless like for Shanks if he hasn't used his leader effect. I don't like swinging.
Hmm.
Just like you mentioned earlier, you swing for 5 with
Hmm.
Jimmy, but I never want to do that. Like just in my head mentally, I never want to do it because it's just technically I'm just resting him and
Hmm.
nothing's happening.
Yeah, for sure. Normally I wouldn't. In this exact turn, you can do it just because if we're gonna Jozu bounce it, right? Like if
Mhm.
we had a Perona next to it, like if last
Oh,
turn we
okay.
thought about it and we
Yeah.
didn't bounce both Peronas, we only bounced one. Maybe we don't have to swing the Jinbei, but the reason why we would is in this exact turn would be because we're gonna bounce the Jinbei anyways and replay the Jinbei, then it's okay to swing 5. But yeah, I
Got it.
agree. Generally, if you're just gonna swing 5, it's pretty easy for him to just free counter, so you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll swing 6 here. So I imagine you're gonna go Weevil and then
Weevil.
Perona. Okay. Oh, these stacks have been really ugly. Okay, so walk me through when you see this stack, what you're thinking.
I think exactly how I have it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put the Sengoku out for if I need it, or even if like I'm looking at it as a counterpoint.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna throw the boa next just so I could hopefully have another blocker that survives, and then I could also delegate one of those dons to like another attacker.
Mm-hmm.
The next draw, if I get that far, it's another Sengoku, so I'm pulling for a Jinbei.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Mihawk is to get that out
Mm-hmm.
and maybe get rid of both of those perfumes and the gravity blades,
Mm-hmm.
or use it as a 2K.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty chill with this stack. Particularly since we have Femur in our hand and our opponent is at 2 life, which honestly it's pretty shocking he's at 2 life right now. Like your opponent has pretty low rolled the counter, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I'm definitely like I'm trying to play this bow off top and then I'm trying to just push W and get them to 0. Like if you're able to do that, you're in a really great spot.
Hmm.
So I like the way that this is stacked. I think it's possible that maybe we should be drawing the Croc instead of the Sengoku just to get another 2K, but I'm like the second Sengoku.
Okay.
But I think it's like super marginal, like it probably won't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm cool with that stack for sure. Okay. So.
I think I counter. Yeah,
Mhm.
I try to keep that bow alive as
Mhm.
long as I can.
I'm pretty cool with you countering that. Yeah, I think that's fine. Um, he plays this
Yeah, I
better
see
Usopp.
what you mean earlier, just to kind of get that the Yasop out the way
Mhm.
earlier,
Mhm.
because now I kind of have to worry about that as a bigger body,
Mhm.
like bigger than my lead body.
Yeah, and see, it's every single turn this Yasop is demanding a card from you, right? Which is really annoying. Um,
Yeah.
like if we just have like a Jozu stuck and like he doesn't have the Yasop stuck, like our Jozu is gonna demand a card from him every turn,
Hmm.
and the Yasop is not gonna demand a card from us every turn.
Okay.
Which is why on that, like again, I don't really love Jozu in this matchup most of the time, but I think right there
Yeah.
it would have been pretty decent. Um, yeah, I mean, if in for a penny, in for a pound, so we got a counter there. Okay, walk me through what you're thinking here. I think this is an important turn.
I feel like right now I'm like don't really know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I know I have a boa up top,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I play the Sengoku first. No, I don't play the Sengoku first. I definitely want to play that boa first, just to. Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna matter. I'm trying to think. I might. I think I definitely want to swing first. Definitely swing with the Weevil and a Jozu at life first.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I'm just gonna play a Boa and then Sengoku.
Mm-hmm. So what I'm looking at here
Uh-huh.
is um, you have to consider how many turns you have left in this game. How many more do you think you get?
Maybe two.
Yeah.
Probably one if he throws another. Nah, if he. Let's see. Yeah, I could. hmm. Yeah, maybe not even one more.
I
I think
think
I might panic and think I have to like win here.
I think you most of the time it's kind of hard because we're bricked on these two cards, but he doesn't know that. I think a lot of the time, and honestly, this would be an argument for drawing the croc, by the way. Um,
Yeah.
a lot of the time, we're gonna get like 1.5 more turns here. So we're for sure getting one more turn after this, and
Yeah.
then it kind of depends after that. We might get one more. It kind of depends on if he realizes the situation. Because what's going to happen is we're going to swing this turn, we're going to play out the boa, and he's going to spend a turn swinging at those.
Hmm.
And then we're probably going to take 1 damage. We might take 2. If we take 2, we're kind of cooked.
Yeah.
Like this gravity blade is just so bad, which is part of the reason why I said like we really want to be playing Perona and pushing it down the stack or pushing
Hmm.
it to the bottom. Um, and like if this was just a 2K, I think we're in a lot. Like if this gravity blade was a 2K, I think we're in like we do probably get the 2 turns because we are at 4 life. Like he's gonna spend a
Yeah.
turn swinging at our board. He's gonna use 3 swings on that, and then he'll use like 2 swings at life. We'll like get to counter one, and then depending on life, we maybe get to
Hmm.
survive one more turn. But for sure, in this game state, with what your hand is, if he realizes it, you only get this turn and next turn. Which means what you have to do is you have to put him to 0 this turn. It's non-negotiable. You have to put him to 0 this turn
Hmm.
because next turn you're gonna untap with 0 characters besides Perona. Like you'll have these 2 Peronas, and like that's just like not a real swing into Shanks because you're gonna have to
Yeah.
attach like fucking 6 Dawn to even get past leader
Make it.
effect with
Yeah.
it. So you have to put him to 0. So you have to kind of like figure out what the best numbers to do that are. I think it's
Hmm.
probably here. It's probably like 889. I think we're supposed to go 889.
Okay.
And I would probably start with the maybe 8 from leader because it gives him the least amount of knowledge.
You wouldn't even leader effect to get that bow out there.
No, you would. You would, because
Okay.
what the boa does is
Gives you that Don back, so it's technically
yeah,
like you didn't
yeah,
even
it's
burn
free.
it.
You get to play the boa completely for free in that situation. Um, so I think we absolutely have to swing 889, and we have to hope that he can't 2K, 1K, 2K, 2K. Which is honestly based on how he has played. If he hasn't really drawn counter in the last couple turns, it's actually super possible that we put him to 0. And if we put him to 0, it's still not game over because they play events.
Mhm.
But I think it's our only chance to win from this game state is we have to put him to 0, and then we have
This
to
turn.
hope he doesn't have events. Yeah, so like this Sengoku is troll for a few different reasons. First of all, we're messing up the fact that we just
Oh,
stacks.
yeah.
So like
I see what I did.
that's just troll off the rip, is we no longer know our leader effect. And then it's also troll because now we have one less Dawn to swing with, and as we established, we don't get 2 more turns almost ever. So like
Mhm.
this Sengoku is like triple troll. It's like your opponent is like shaking your hand, man. He's so fucking thrilled that you did this.
Yeah, I definitely messed that up. I think that's why I stutter the mic or the stutter the mouse like that. Yeah,
Yeah, you realize you messed
great.
it up. Yeah, so
Yep.
like, I'm not even as upset. I'm not upset at all, obviously. I think it's not even as big of a deal that you messed up the fact that you messed up your top deck. Like that is an issue. Don't get me wrong. But
Yeah.
like the real issue here is the fact that my guess, based on the fact that you played this Sengoku here, is you don't actually understand that you have to kill him. Like when you play this Sengoku, you're just completely wasting a Dawn, irregardless of the fact that you didn't know the top of your deck. Like you're just
Yeah.
throwing away a Dawn, and you need that Dawn, especially versus Shanks, which is a deck that plays so much counter. You need that Dawn to try and put him to 0 here.
Mm.
So we'll see how you play out the rest of this turn.
By the way, it looks like I think I throw the boa for a blocker,
Yeah, I think you do too, which is like you're actually just
shooting myself in the
you're
foot.
just you're actually just like super hard throwing. Yeah, and the boa doesn't even find. Honestly, there's nothing the boa could have found. There's nothing like your opponent is gonna end this turn on. I'm really excited to see his hand. Once you lose, it's unfortunately we won't get like full knowledge because like he
Mhm.
took this and then also he got a draw, and I'm guessing he'll get one more draw because you won't die here and then he won't die and then he'll get one more draw.
Yeah, I don't even know what I was doing right here.
Yeah, like see
I think
you
I was
just
just so aggro about the last play.
yeah, and see like here you're trying to survive one more turn. Like honestly, what you had to do this turn was you had to like once you get to this game state, you can't even do this. You actually just have to swing like 8 with Sengoku.
And just hope for the best.
Yeah, you have to go 8-8 and just pray. Like it's never getting there. It's literally never getting there. But
Yeah.
like you die, we know definitively. Like your opponent can turn off his brain. He doesn't even need any Dawn. He literally doesn't have to attach a single Dawn and you still die.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he Red Hawks, which doesn't even matter. You were dead either way. Yeah, I'm sad that he's going to get 2 draws before we get to see what was in his hand, because I actually do think that this was potentially winnable. But we'll have like... Yeah, dude, look at this. Look at this. Yeah, like, if he just drew these, like, if one of them was in life and one of them was one of the 2 draws, or if they were both the 2 draws, like, dude,
I would have won that
you
one,
had
yeah.
it. You literally had the win. You had the win right there.
Oh,
Mathematically, you had lethal.
I feel like that's my problem. It's little stuff. So I know definitely I messed up on that Sengoku play, but the other plays before I didn't realize I like messed up. It's little plays. I know I should have probably single-handedly easily won this game pretty easy, but it just I sell. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. So that like a fair bit of your play this game was fine. Like even as we talked about it, like I said, like this play maybe isn't the ideal play, but it's still a solid play. Like I'm not upset about it. The only thing that I think truly was awful was that last turn.
that last turn.
Yeah, that last turn, like you just completely sold. You just like
Yeah.
completely sold.
Yeah, because I think I get so focused on trying to build board as fast as I can, and that's what I get so stuck on.
Okay, so my Discord is having a glitch, so I can't actually look at the next replay. So I'm gonna close Discord just real quick, and I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. Let's see. I'm sorry, YouTube. Just skip like 30 seconds. We'll be right back, I promise. Okay. I am back.
Ooh.
Okay, so the second game you wanted to go over was Blackbeard. Okay, that will be a good one. How do you feel like you normally do versus Blackbeard?
It's like it's so iffy because I've seen a couple guides that I have to get a lot of like 1Ks out, like a lot of like buggies, Peronas, like as many 1Ks I can to knock out like the Don Q. Like there's certain players, but for some reason I just keep getting just beat by them. It's like at times it's like when I beat him, I'm like, oh, I know why I beat him. But then at times like when I lose, I'm like, I don't even know how, like where I went wrong.
Yeah. So what I'll say is, you want to go first. Absolutely, you want to go first. The one drops are imperative for sure. And I think Gravity Blade is probably the best card in the matchup. Perfume Femur is also like super ignorant because it allows you to like.
Yeah, I won one the other day like that. They put 2 of the 10 cost blockers, whatever, and I just perfumed them, went straight by it, and they were irritated.
Yeah, it's one of the best matchups for Perfume for sure because it allows you to play super ignorant if you draw it. But overall, I would say like the things that are consistently really important in the matchup are the one drops and the Gravity Blade. Those cards are super important.
Yeah.
So okay, so you did choose to go first. That's awesome. When you see this,
Wait, I can't. I don't. Do you mind sharing it real quick?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good.
It's because I reset it. That's right. Okay.
No, you're good.
Okay. So when you see this opening 5, how are you feeling?
I still don't see it.
Really?
Yeah.
There's no way. It says I'm sharing.
Promise you, I don't see it.
Okay.
Oh wait, here we go. Never mind. I didn't.
Yeah, you had to re-click on it. Yeah, Discord's weird how that works. Okay, so when you see this opening 5, how are you feeling?
It's like I really want to pull a Perona this one, so I know what I'm leader affecting. But sometimes I just hate mulliganing. So I might play the Sengoku off this just to get a card in hand, or I think I might play the buggy off this to guarantee that I'll at least have the next turn to leader effect with. It's like I don't love it, but I don't like hate it.
Yeah, it's a very middle of the road hand. Honestly, I'm super okay with either keeping or mulliganing. I think it entirely depends on how greedy you feel. Like, if you think that like you're just gonna draw a good hand, like run it, right? Just mulligan and run it. But
Yeah.
also, if you keep, it's like perfectly reasonable. Like you have 2 1-drops, you have a couple 4-drops. The Jozu is like whatever. I'm really okay either way. I think most of the time I would mulligan, even though there's 2 1-drops, just because there are 12 1-drops in the deck, so you're gonna probably see them. And Perona is the ideal one, no doubt. Like Perona is the ideal. And also I kind of want to see Gravity Blade. Like I think Gravity Blade is like so huge in this matchup. I think like your win percentage when you see Gravity Blade is like really crazy. Like today in the Treasure Cup, I went first. And I didn't see any 1-drops, and like for the most part, I was like pretty behind. He saw like, or no, I went second. I saw no, or no. Yeah, I did go. I think I'm mixing up 2 games. Okay, I did go. What did I go? Did I go first or second? I think I went second, and I saw no 1-drops, and he had ideal curve. He went like Lafitte into Doc Q into Van Auger, like. That's like the best thing they can do, and it feels really bad, especially when you have no 1-drops. But like eventually on 10 Dawn, I was just able to Gravity Blade him and he was just cooked. Because if you're able to deny those 2 draws off of the Doc Q and the Van Augur, or even better, a Van Augur and a Burgess, like it just puts them so far behind.
Yeah.
So
because the Burgess that gains traction.
It gets so
every
big.
turner. It's
it's really problematic. It gets really problematic by the end of the game.
Yeah.
Because their win condition is to slow you down and then kind of kill you, kind of like how Shanks does. Like Shanks wants to kill you in like 2 turns. Blackbeard also wants to kill you in like 2 turns. They want to put you to like 3 or 4 life and then have like a Burgess and like 2 10 drops and kill you in 2 turns.
Holy, yeah.
Yeah, so I do think most of the time I would mulligan this, but if you keep it, it's fine. Like, I'm not upset about it. I will be upset if you play the Sengoku.
I feel like I definitely do for some reason.
Yeah.
Because I like always forget that he could do that leader ability stuff. But I think I play the buggy. I'm like, yeah, no way I don't play the buggy.
Yeah, surely. Nope.
Nope. Fuck.
Okay. Well, surely you will just blind hit. I mean, if you blind hit, it's actually crazy, and you did just get 3 misses out of the way with that search. So honestly, the odds are in your favor. For sure, they're in your favor. And if you hit, like, you're doing great. But if you miss, it's like really sad. Because if you miss, the really important thing about you missing is if you miss, it allows him to play Burgess on 4. Like if you have a hit, he has to do one of 2 things. Either he has to play an event and KO it, or and we would have hit Weevil, by the way, which is also like the best thing we can hit because it's a 6k body, so it doesn't allow him to like swing 5. Because like ideally what they want to do is they want you to have a 5k body. Well, really they want you to have no body, but they always assume you're going to have a play on 3. They want to swing 5 at your 5 body, and it takes a card out of your hand. And then they can, like, finger pistol it, right?
Yeah.
Or just swing 9 at it. It really depends. But, like, if you don't even have a body, like, if you miss this, like, it's so bad for you because it allows him to play the Burgess. Like, you're giving him a free turn to develop when he shouldn't be allowed to. Which is even more problematic if you don't find Gravity Blade. But surely you'll hit, and everything I'm saying is just not, oh, please do not play buggy.
I might because he didn't do the leader. I want to see what I did because he didn't trash a card.
Yeah, we would have hit Weevil too, brother.
Jesus.
We would have hit Weevil. Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna put this out there. You always leader effect on 3. There's no game state other than like definitively
any game or just Blackbeard, like
every game in the game. Every game in the game, you leader effect on 3. The only time you don't is if you know you're missing. Like if you there's a game on the channel, actually, ironically, versus Blackbeard, where I think he's like a Thailand player or something. It's in the Asia finals. You can watch it if you want. But he goes buggy on 1, and his buggy reveals Jozu pudding. So, like, that's the situation where you don't leader effect, obviously. Yeah. But every other situation, you blind leader effect. Blackbeard is also the deck that you most often blind leader effect. Because you're not going to get to know the top of your deck for most of the game. You just do it. And, like, you hit, like, 76% of the time, somewhere around there, depending on how many non-warlords you see. So you do hit most of the time. And even when you miss, it's like, oh, no, I used 1 Dawn and I missed, but
do that. Yeah.
The 76% of the time I hit, like I'm so far ahead because of it.
And I think another part too that I'm thinking of in this game, the reason why I threw the buggy is like, technically I did save it for next turn, but now I have 2 on the board, and so if they throw that Searcher or Don Q, I can knock them out pretty quick.
But like
that's how I'm thinking of it.
But like you also have to know that if you don't play a body here, he doesn't have to play those things. Like he can actually just play Burgess. Like why can't he play Burgess on 4 if you don't have a body?
Oh, true.
If you don't have a body to remove, he doesn't have to do anything. He can just play Burgess swing 5.
And then that gains so much traction.
Yeah, like later in the game, if you don't see Gravity Blade, like that Burgess is going to be like this big 7, 8K, 9K, 10K, 11K swing eventually. I mean, it might not get that big because he doesn't have stage. We'll see. But eventually it's just going to get big, and he's going to get to swing into your board over and over and over and over and over again. And then eventually he's going to get to swing into your life. So there is absolutely no world where we're playing buggy here. We will play buggy, but we'll play it on like probably like 5. We'll play it on the 5 Dawn turn. Because like on the 5 Dawn turn, we'll have extra Dawn anyways. Like on our 5 Dawn turn, what we would do is we'd just swing 5, we'd play a 4-drop, and then we'd play the buggy.
Okay.
And you still get to develop the buggy there. Like if you really think about it, if he spent his turn, like let's say he played the Dock Q or the Lafitte or whatever. Let's say you hit. Do you think he is allowed to play either of those things on his 4 Dawn turn?
No, right? I mean,
he's not. Like if you hit, he can't play Lafitte or Dock Q here. Like he can, but he can't rest them. Like if he rests them, you just swing into them, and it's like, okay, cool. I still have this Weevil. Like he has to get rid of the Weevil on 4. He like he has no choice. He has no choice. He has to do one of 2 things: either swing 9 at it or KO it with an event. He cannot. Also your opponent was like unbelievably crazy throwing by not leader affecting, by the way. Also, he binked the Sky Slicer on the first hit. Like, oh my goodness. I just can't even. He fucking binks the Sky Slicer and he didn't leader affect.
It's because my OP bounty's not that high.
Oh my god, bro. Holy. And we're gonna lose versus this dude, by the way. Holy shit. Yeah, see, like we're allowing him to play these. Like you think that you were preventing him from playing these by playing the 1-drop, but you're actually allowing him to.
Oh.
Like you actually did. Like, see, he doesn't even care about this Dock Q. He doesn't care about your 1-drops.
He just played him for free. Yeah.
He just plays them for free. And it's like this is so bad for you. You should have a Weevil on board, and like he would have not had these 3 characters on board. Yeah. Also, you would have drawn a card, which is crazy. Like you would have also, because he was dumb and didn't leader effect, you would have also just gotten to draw a card.
What the hell am I doing?
It's all good. It's all good. That's why we do this, right? That's why we do
this. Don't do it.
I
definitely do.
I don't think we want to play Boa here. We want to play Weevil and Perona. But we need to swing 5 first. Because if you play this Boa or Weevil, it doesn't matter that much. I would play the Weevil. Because you might get into a game state later in the game where maybe he doesn't leader effect. Like sometimes at the very end of the game, they don't leader effect. And in those situations, the best thing for you to do will be like to play your better cards like Boa, because Boa can establish 2 bodies. So also you have to imagine that whatever body you play next is getting KO'd instantly anyways. Because like if he didn't rest this Dock Q, to me what that means is he has a way to remove your 4-drop next turn. So either he has a Van Augur, which I think we might actually know he has a Van Augur.
I think he trashed it.
He trashed one. So he has another one in hand for sure. So like whatever 4 we play he's getting rid of anyways. So like we might as well just play a Weevil instead of the Boa, because like maybe later down the line, like the Boa can stick and become a blocker. Or it might even get its effect like really, really later down the line. But regardless of what we play, we have to swing first. Because if we play first and then we swing and then he hits the finger pistol, you lose on the spot. Like you're already behind where you should be. And if you just give him the 4 free mana to freaking bink you, you just lose the game on the spot. Because actually what happens if you do that, I'll tell you exactly what happens. Okay. He goes Lafitte effect. One of those 2, he gets to look at 10. One of those 2 finds another Dock Q. He uses 2 more Dawn for Dock Q, and he KOs both of these. Because like your Boa got KO'd by the finger pistol.
Yeah.
Both Dock Qs KO both of your 1-drops, and then he has 2 more Dawn. He either plays another Lafitte, probably just another Lafitte, honestly, genuinely. He probably just finds the 3rd Lafitte. Or he swings 7, it doesn't even really matter. Or he plays Vasco Shot. And then like you're looking at a board that has nothing on it. And then he's looking at a board that's 5 wide, bro.
Yeah.
So I pray that you swing first. I know that you know this is a hit. I think this is like kind of fine actually because it's a 6K body. This is fine. It does low key play more into the finger gun. But I'm pretty okay with us leader affecting there. Specifically because it's a 6K body. If it's a 5K body, he gets to bully it more. But because it's a 6K body, it's actually pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Like I would be shocked if he doesn't like Lafitte. He's gonna like swing 5, use Lafitte effect, and then like play Van Augur and KO this.
And also too, like because I feel like my first two, anytime he attacks at life, I just instantly take.
Yeah,
just so I'm not like too starved.
You
when
for
does
sure
it like get uncomfy to start taking? Like, is it
the first two
right now
you can almost always take.
Yeah.
The third one is where you want to like start, and this is generally true versus all of these like shitter decks. Not just Teach, like it's also fine versus Pluffy and Shanks and all of them. Like taking the first two is generally okay, and then it's like the third one you want to be, if it's like a reasonable swing like a 5 or a 6, like then you're gonna want to counter it.
Okay. Gotcha.
But again, it's pretty contextual. Like, see, I know exactly what he's gonna do like every single time before he even does it.
Where did you like? I guess I don't know if it's just the learning curve that I'm just haven't been playing that long because I think it's only been like 3 months or 2 months. Where did you learn all the decks from? Like, did you like just study up on them, like watching YouTube videos? Like, where the heck did you figure out how every deck works? Like, I think that's my biggest curve that I don't know.
Since I have, and I can pull it up if you want to see it. Since 8.5 has come up, since Doflamingo and 8.5, I have, no exaggeration, 800 games with Doflamingo on the ladder.
Holy shit.
800 games on the ladder. That's not even including like me and my girlfriend play almost every day. I play with friends, like webcam or whatever. Like on just the ranked ladder since 8.5, which was that was the start of November. I have 800 games with Doflamingo. So I just like, and also like, I run a YouTube channel where I fucking watch games for fun, right? So it's like, a lot of the learning curve of the game is knowing what your opponent is going to do on what turns and why. Because if you know what they're going to do, like, seriously, swear to God, almost every game I play of One Piece, almost every single game I play, my opponent is sitting there thinking about what they're going to do. And I already knew what they were going to do before I even passed my turn.
And that's just through the game experience?
Yeah, it's just like, I've just played so much. I know based on the board state what they want to do.
Oh, so you've only been playing since November.
No. I've been playing since June, I think. But like with Doflamingo specifically.
Oh yeah.
Since the structure decks came out, I have like 800 games. And I will say like so I played like 7, 7.5, and 8. Like I played Lucci pretty much that entire time. A little bit of BY. Like I don't think almost any of that really translates to current game, to be honest. So if you started in 8.5, like I think people who played before 8.5, at least since people who've been playing since 7, I don't think they have that big of an advantage over you for like meta wise, just because it's shifted so much. I just play the game way more than is reasonable for any human being to do. So I just know everything that the opponents are going to do. Like, it's all repetition.
Gotcha.
So, we're on this turn. What are you thinking you want to do?
Definitely taking out Don, Doc Q, whatever, Don Q. Definitely going to try to take out his another, I think it says Lafitte.
Yeah, it's Lafitte.
Lafitte, take that out. And then I think it's either I blind leader effect or I throw a boa in. I think that's what I go for.
I think you're going to end up doing both. You're going to both play a character. We're on 7, so we should be playing a character. Probably Weevil still. We should probably play Weevil and then blind leader effect. I think I think you're correct. We do have to swing at Lafitte and Doc Q. And then we gotta just play a 4 and blind leader effect. So hopefully that's what you do here. Oh my god, please. Please do not attach one Don to one of these one drops. Okay, thank God. Thank God. I would have probably swung at Lafitte first, but I'm fine with swinging at the Dock Q first. Like, he's
Why
never
would you swing at
countering.
Lafitte first?
He's never countering out of this, but technically by swinging at the Dock Q first, like he's never countering out of this. To be honest, he's just never doing it. But like by swinging at the Dock Q first, you are technically giving him a draw, which does technically give him like one extra card that he could use to counter out of this. Again, he's never doing it in this spot, but there are spots where it can come up. Like sometimes he'll have Dock Q plus like Laboon. And it's like way more, it transfers way more in that situation. Like if he has Laboon and Dock Q and you know you're swinging at both, you always swing at the Laboon first.
Okay. So Doc, when you KO him, he gets a card out of the trap.
Yeah.
Okay. Did not know that.
That's part of the reason why Gravity Blade is so important in this matchup. Because if you think about Blackbeard, so first of all, like he has 7 cards in his hand right now. He just drew 1 off Dock Q, so he had 6. If you really think about it, he should actually have only 4 cards in his hand right now. First of all, he hit a lucky Tempest Sky Slicer on you, first life, which like, first of all, I actually do agree that Blackbeard players should be playing it, specifically because the high roll potential is crazy, and I think the low roll potential is like, doesn't even matter because you just discard it for free anyways. So I do think they should be playing it, but to be fair, like 10% or less of Blackbeard players are playing it. So he has 1 extra card because he sacked you with a lucky trigger. And then he also has 1 extra card because he's a boosted ape who didn't leader effect turn 1. So he should only have 4 cards in hand right now. So the thing about Blackbeard is like they're really starved for cards, right? So like let's think about this turn. Like he should have 4 cards in hand. And if you Gravity Bladed the Van Augur and the Dock Q, like he still has to leader effect next turn and the turn after that and the turn after that. So like he's just going to run out of cards, right? So like that's why the Gravity Blade is so important, is because normally you have to waste a swing on like this Dock Q and it replaces itself. And like you can't ever swing into the Van Augur because it's bigger than 5 and you're kind of trolling because even if you do swing over it, like it replaces itself. So like those are like 2 things where they either replace themselves or they just get infinite value the entire game, which is why Gravity Blade is so strong in this matchup, which is why I said like I think most of the time I would have mulliganed, especially in a list that plays 3 Gravity Blade. Like I genuinely think like in a standard game where he has 4 cards in hand and you Gravity Blade the Van Augur and the Dock Q, even though you've played like crazy shit for most of this game, like sorry if I'm being too harsh there,
bro, I'm telling you, I don't care at all.
Okay.
I love the honesty. Honestly, it's a funny.
Even though you played like shit most of this game, like you actually just probably win by denying him those 2 draws because like he's actually just going to be starved for cards, right? Yeah. So definitely we want to swing at the Lafitte first, even though again it actually won't matter because I mean the thing is he's actually thinking of countering here, which is like crackhead behavior, like actually insane. Like you're thrilled if he counters out of this. Like there's actually just no way. Okay, yeah, there's just no fucking way. Yeah, so here surely we're just going. Again, I don't think it should be the boa. I kind of understand why you're playing the boa. You probably think
I did it for a blocker.
Yeah, it could be a blocker, but like the thing is, it's just always going to get removed. Like he's either going to play. We missed. That's unfortunate. Yeah, this is a turn where
I remember this game too. I don't know why. For some reason, I threw the pudding out. Because I thought I could empty their hand, but I forgot about Blackbeard's ability.
No.
I already know what's coming up. So,
no.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, thank you for warning me. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you could honestly just like I already know what's gonna happen, and I'm just like shaking my head right now because I was like, oh, I got a pudding. Like, thank God, I'm gonna burn this guy's whole hand, and it just shit.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. We're playing on 2 speed. Oh, we're playing on 1 speed. We played the last one on 2 times speed. I didn't even realize we were only on 1. That's my bad. I try to be on 2 just so that we can be as efficient in these as possible.
Nah, you good.
Yeah, so he's just gonna dock you it.
Yeah.
He's gonna swing over one of our things, and he has 6 dawns. So really, This could be a lot of different things, actually. He has a ton of dawns, so it could be a lot of different things. But again, even on this turn, like, dude, if we bink the Gravity Blade, it's actually so huge. Like, he's going to play Burgess most of the time here.
Yeah.
And if we can just, like, Gravity Blade the Burgess and the Van Augur, it's really big. It's really, really big. Like, I think this is, honestly, ironically, the matchup where Gravity Blade is the best. Like, Gravity Blade isn't in the deck for this matchup.
Yeah.
It's in the deck for a lot of other reasons. Yeah. Again, I don't like swinging at that first.
Swinging at that first, yeah.
Yeah, honestly.
Because he could have just pulled that counter out of there.
Yeah. Yeah, easily. He could have. Also,
I see exactly why now, though. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Right. He could have easily just drawn that. Okay, so we're in this game state. What are you thinking now?
I'm fucked.
Okay.
Now, realistically, I think I want to try to take out the Van Augur. I think definitely throw a Weevil out, get another card in hand. Blind leader effect, swing a Van Augur. I think that's the move I do right here.
All right, if you swing at the Van Augur here, your opponent is gonna give you the Nobel Peace Prize. He's gonna be your biggest fan. He's gonna think you're just a stand-up guy. Because if you spend 4 Dawn swinging at this Van Augur, he's like, okay, cool. The Van Augur replaces itself. Also, by the way, I'm going to 10 Dawn, so I'm actually just playing 10 drop teaches for the rest of the game anyways. So like this Van Augur was actually just a 6k swing for the rest of the game. Like I'm not going to play another dock queue. I've already been through like 3. Like this Van Augur wasn't going to remove anything. All it was going to do was swing 6 for the rest of the game, and like I don't need it to swing 6 for the rest of the game in order to win this game. That's not my win condition. My win condition is not Van Augur swing 6. So like if you swing like the Van Augur is going to replace itself, and then like you just wasted like 4 Dawn. Like you need to be like the reason why the 1-drops are really good, I think something that maybe you're missing is like the 1-drops are really good because they do allow you to swing into like Lafitte and Dock Q, and that's phenomenal. That's really good. But the other piece is, like, if you get your opponent, and this game state happens all the time, if you get your opponent to a game state where they're just playing 10 drop teach, and they have, like, no cards in hand, it doesn't matter if you have 5 dudes who are all, like, 2k power. Like, you just swinging 5k by attaching 3 Dawn when they only have like 2 cards in hand is super oppressive. Like I had a game today where like my board was literally like teach, pudding, a frozen Weevil, and like a Perona. And it's like, that doesn't sound that good. But like if you actually just attach a small bit of Dawn to each of those characters so that they can be a 5k swing, like the Blackbeard player is like too starved. They can't give you 3 cards.
They're technically burning. Yeah, they're technically burning a card every time just to have their. Okay.
Yeah. So like they just can't afford. Like part of the reason why the 1-drops is so good is like they just allow you to go wide really easily.
True.
So I'm really hoping that you don't swing really big. Okay, it looks like you don't. Okay, that's awesome.
Oh, so I played it completely different than
Oh, this is great. This is actually what I wanted you to do. So this is actually phenomenal. This is literally exactly what I wanted you to do. I'm thrilled. I mean, I would have played double Weevil, but it's fine. Like I'm not mad about it.
Try to get some counter or shoot for the Gravity Blade.
Yeah. Well, you had no effects. So like just play the Weevil because like you can keep the boa for a later turn.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
Again, like this game, he has 2 more cards in hand than he should, just because he got lucky and also he was dumb. But like this is the part of the game where he starts to not be like it starts getting scary for him to leader effect. Like he really wants to, obviously, but sometimes he just doesn't have the cards, right? I don't know why he was thinking about putting his feet sideways. Yeah, we have to counter that. That's great. We have to counter that as well. Like, look, now we have to take this 9. Like, we have to counter this 6, right? Like, we can't go down to 1 life.
Yeah.
Because if we go down to 1 life, we die next turn 100% of the time, right? Whereas if we counter this 6, we have another life. So we're at 2 life now. And, like, some percentage of the time, I'm going to keep it a buck with you, we still die. Some percentage of the time. But not all the time. Like, I think there's no way you survive next turn. Like, if you survive next turn, it's actually because your opponent turned off his monitor. Or you binked the gravity blade. If you bink the gravity blade, I guess there's a way. Oh my god, holy shizai. You're the goat. You're the goat. Please tell me you fired off. All right, nice.
No way.
All right.
Okay.
Sick. You actually have a way to not die next turn. Yeah, 6. That's awesome. He has to give you a card, and then 7 blind leader. Okay, perfect. You miss again. Okay. So, like, part of this game, part of the reason we lose is we have gotten a little bit unlucky. Like, we've blind leader affected twice and missed both times.
Yeah.
Which does feel a little bad, for sure. So that's a little unlucky, because, again, I really want to say it's, like, somewhere around 76% that we hit. So the fact that we missed both feels pretty bad. And he hit the Tempest Sky Slicer. But I don't think the reason we lost this game was we got unlucky. I think, like, it definitely made it harder to win. But I think, like, some of those decisions, like, especially the 3 Dawn turn, I think we actually just crazy sold on the 3 Dawn turn.
Yeah. Yeah, I sold the game pretty early.
For sure. It was still winnable from that game state, but you made it, like, infinitely harder on yourself. Yeah, so look, now he just removes that, and now he just... he's not even going for game. What is he doing? What is he doing?
Yeah, what is he doing?
He's gonna remove a 1. Yeah, see, and he's removing this 1 because he's so scared that you're gonna swing, like, too many times, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you have to counter this, obviously. Well, actually, low key, you could take this and dare him to swing 13, and that could be your win condition here. It's actually maybe your best win condition. You're actually supposed to take this and bait him to swing 13. You probably still lose, but that is actually what you're supposed to do. Nice, you do it. That's awesome.
Because I think I empty out my whole hand.
Which is fine, because you actually have to win this next turn either way. He left a Dawn open. Okay. You grabbed a 1K? Okay. I don't even know why I don't understand how he's possibly leader affecting here, by the way. This is like a really crazy leader effect to me.
I really hope I didn't send you a win.
No, you don't win this. You don't win this. It's like super unlikely you get there. Like if he leader effects there, especially, like he just either he's crazy throwing or okay. So what are our numbers here? We can go like
5 just to get him a burn card, maybe.
No, we have to go for game.
No,
we have to go for game. Like how do you think you survive next turn?
Oh, duh. Yeah.
So it's like it's probably 7-8-8 to be honest.
7-8,
they don't play that many 2Ks. It's probably 7-8-8. 8 is not the first swing, that is for sure.
Oof.
Okay, he binked a 2K. So honestly, we maybe never get there anyways. Yeah, this is. Oh my god, another Tempest Sky Slicer. Damn. So we'll never actually know if we got there or not. Oh, I kind of think we would have. If he didn't bink this Tempest Sky Slicer, I actually think we would have.
Oh.
Because he gave us 2 1Ks there, which to me says that like he probably didn't have it. I mean, we'll see. Okay, so he has the Teach in hand. What is he even doing, bro?
I think he's trolling. I think he's trolling at this point.
Yeah. Oh, he did have 3 bricks. Yo, that's crazy. We actually get there if he didn't bink the Sky Slicer. Because he actually had all bricks. Wow, that's crazy. That's actually crazy. The Sky Slicer to save the game was bonkers. Okay.
My luck. And then, I mean, I sold it first pretty easy.
Yeah, you 100% sold. I actually think, like, a fair percentage of that game. You were playing well. Like we have continued so far the pattern of what you say versus what you do. The do
Yeah.
has been better, which is actually different than the other two people I've coached so far. The other two people, it's been the opposite. Like I ask them the question, and like some percentage of the time they tell me the correct thing, and then we watch the replay and they like fucking
I think
tweak like crazy.
I think what it is I tweak it
Mm-hmm.
so it's not what I did. Because like,
Well, I told you, I don't
yeah.
want you to. I want you to just tell me what you think right now. What do you think is the correct play? Like that's all. I don't want you to think about what you did at all. Just
Yeah.
that's the old you. I want to know current you, who I'm trying to help.
Yeah.
What does current you think is the correct play?
Okay.
That's all. That's all. What does current you believe? You know. And then it looks like next you wanted to try going over BY Luffy.
Yeah, I played, I feel like, well, I guess it got unbanned. I don't know what happened with it.
Yeah, I got it.
I played it, I think 3 times. I got smoked all 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
I get it down to 0 life, but it's once I get to that end, it's just bad.
Yeah. I will say BY is my least favorite matchup. I hate it a lot, but
Honestly, that and Bonnie, I don't know how to get past Bonnie at all.
okay. We'll spend some time on Bonnie because I think Bonnie is actually not that hard.
Oof, I hope.
But BY is genuinely BY is one of those decks where like if they see the nuts, there's just like nothing you can do. Like you're just cooked. Like it's one of the few matchups that's unfavorable. I don't think it's crazy unfavorable, but it's definitely like 55-45 probably somewhere around there in their favor.
Yeah.
And it's also probably like the hardest to navigate. Okay, so first of all, you chose to go first. I think for sure we want to go second. Like for sure we want to go second, so that's the first thing to address.
Against BY.
Mm-hmm. And like I'll send you some things that Jonas has sent me about like he's written some stuff about how to how he approaches the matchup. So I'll send you some of that as a good resource because again, this is a really really tricky matchup. But we'll some just main pointers. Gym bays are super important. Pudding, obviously. I think Gravity Blade is probably a little overhyped. I think Gravity Blade was really good when we played Kaido, but we can't play Kaido anymore, so it's not as good. Jozu is really helpful on the 6 and 7 Dawn turn, but after that...
Kaido got banned?
No, Kaido didn't... Is Kaido in your list currently?
No, I don't have him in my list.
Okay, yeah.
I know if you were running. I haven't seen your most recent one that you updated it. I think I've still just used yours from like a while ago.
Okay. Well, regardless, I'll send you my current updated list, and if you have any questions about it, you can always ask.
Okay.
But like, Kaido wasn't banned. Just it's not in the list anymore. It's not playable.
Okay.
It's not playable the same way it was in 8.5. So
yeah,
I think Gravity Blade was really good when paired with Kaido in this matchup. I think it still has moments to shine. But the best BY players, most of the time, they're just going to spam Rocket Luffy. So you're never going to have two things to Gravity Blade a huge percentage of the time. So this is like a pretty crazy keep versus any matchup. This is like, dude, you're praying to draw Teach exactly or Blind Leader Effect, which like the deck is uber consistent. Like, brother, just mulligan.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I think as I seen the Jinbei and the boas, I was like, oh, I definitely got to keep this, but
no, you don't have to. You don't have to.
Okay.
You really want to play on one. Like, I mean, this is. I mean, you're just risking it for the biscuit here. I think, which is like, I mean, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. It's not like the most egregious keep of all time, to be fair, because there is 5 actually decent cards in our hand. But like I'm just really worried about missing. And also like we don't have a pudding, which is like one of the biggest win conditions in the game versus this deck.
He has such a I got lucky. He does have such a heavy hand.
Okay, you hit, that's fine.
I blinded. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll take it. We'll take it any day of the week. We'll see what he does here.
Because I think at first I felt like I was cooking. I got him
Mhm.
down low super fast, and I think I played all the moves. I mean, besides, I probably should have mulliganed.
I don't think it's the most. Yeah, I like that counter. That counter was great. Okay.
Definitely, I throw a Jinbei. I know that.
Hmm.
I'm
I
looking. Hmm.
hmm. Do I like this swing or not? We are going first. Going second, I think this swing is a little bit worse because it's
Yeah.
pretty easy and comfortable for them to awaken on 7. 6 is a little bit more scary for them, admittedly. Um, I I'm generally okay with this swing. It also kind of pressures them because if they take, they're going to go up to 9 cards. I think this swing is pretty reasonable, actually. I don't think I necessarily love discarding the Jozu, to be quite frank with you. They also hit a lucky trigger, good for them. That was also a pretty insane take because if they, okay, um, see, I'm just not crazy about the fact that we got rid of the Jozu because on 6, a lot of the time
Yeah.
they're gonna want to play a 5-drop. And like the Jozu, we could have like kept Sengoku and like played Sengoku and then played Jozu and then like bounced both. And then like we
Oh,
start our next turn potentially with like 3 or 4 characters. Um Jin like I'm not sure we needed this Weevil necessarily. I don't know. It's kind of weird. What are you thinking when you see this deck though? Let's just focus on what's actually happening.
yeah. Um, Let me see. So what, I pulled the boa off that. I think I'm throwing the Jinbei right in front, so I could throw like another boa.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's how I would play it.
Yeah.
Is definitely put in perfume's 100% gonna be in the middle. I think I'm gonna do the Jinbei off the leader effect. Oh no, I already burned it, so I wouldn't even do that.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So I'll probably do the gecko just to pick it up, and then I'll throw the Jinbei next. So next turn, I could throw like another boa out and do it off the leader effect.
Yeah, I think I would probably draw the Jinbei, and I'd go Jinbei Boa, and then probably play Moria off of our next leader effect.
Okay.
I think I think that's
To
just
get
the
that
easiest.
2K? To get that
Yeah,
2K in the
yeah,
end? Okay.
yeah, yeah. I think so. Um, it's yeah. I don't think we're in any rush to draw this femur. Femur is just absolutely dead in this matchup, like 99.9% of the time.
Yeah.
Um, So we have no rush to draw the femur, that's for sure. We're gonna want as much active board as possible. Um, yeah, let's see what you do. Okay, and then you're gonna swing 6. I understand why you went Jinbei Boa and then swing 6.
Hmm.
Yeah, I really think maybe swinging 5 is better, to be honest with you. Because, like, when you swing 6 here, first of all, you play into the trigger, which they might be playing genuinely 8 triggers that can KO this boa. And I think if they hit the second trigger to KO your body, I think you lose on the spot. Um, Also, what it does is he can kind of take this for free now, right? If you swing 5 before,
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of a psychopath. He already took once, so maybe he just takes again. But at least if you swing 5 here and you have 4 active Dawn, you're at least threatening the pudding. So if he takes and he goes up to 9 cards in hand and you pudding, I mean, that's like a really bad spot for him, right? So
Yeah.
um, I think for sure you should have swung 5 here instead of 6. I'm guessing you probably don't get punished, um, but just something to think about. Um, one of the really
So maybe on the Luffy, don't go, or the BY Luffy, don't go so aggressive, because I think that's what I do too. I go over aggressive sometimes, like, and I'll just swing, 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 swing.
Mhm.
instead of just like kind of holding back and maybe holding it for another turn.
Yeah, it is. It's very much a dance between both players of like, when is the Doffy gonna have swings to really threaten the BY, and like how is the BY simultaneously going to also play around pudding? It's like it's really really unique gameplay for One Piece for sure.
Yeah.
But like you always want to be trying to like kind of threaten the pudding, and like right here by swinging this 6, you're not really threatening it in any way. And also you can easily get binked by another trigger, and I think you probably just lose the game on the spot if he hits a second KO trigger. Like honestly, any game where they hit even a single KO trigger is typically pretty rough. But if they're able to hit 2, it's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But we'll see if he counters or he takes. Yeah, he just takes for free because like you're not threatening him at all. Oh, he's not even gonna awaken. This is super weird, actually. This is super weird. Yeah, we for sure should have. Well, actually, it's kind of nice that we didn't draw Jinbei. It's actually low key kind of nice. Oh.
Wasn't supposed to do that.
I think what we want to do
Mhm.
is we want to start with a 7 and leader effect. Because what that does is either he takes, like he just can't take, dude. If he takes the 7, he's actually just like a war criminal. Like if he takes and he goes up to freaking 11 cards in hand,
Yeah.
like it's actually just psychopathic behavior.
Yeah.
Especially after you stack your deck with Boa, like it's actually just so insane for him to keep there or to take. And like if we go 7, we can actually like go Jinbei because we know the Jinbei's the top, and then like Jinbei play Boa, so like, and then we could potentially swing 10 if he takes even without the pudding, and then like the 10 is going to demand a minimum of 3 cards. But honestly, we don't have the pudding. I think like if he takes, we kind of just have to like cry and like I don't even think we can even swing the 10, to be honest. Like maybe we're supposed to. Maybe we're supposed to. It's kind of hard to say. But like a lot of the time, I think what happens is he just like gives us like 3 cards, and then we didn't actually develop that much. Like we only developed like 1 standing character, and he like swings over at least one of our rested characters, and he pops the other after awakening. And then we only have 1 character and 1 leader, and he has like, let's say he used like 3 cards to counter out, so he goes up to 11, and then so 12 draw for turn. He uses 3 cards to counter, so he goes to 9, and then he uses like 2 cards to awaken. So he goes to 7 cards in hand, and we have one 5k body and 1 leader. And at that point we're like pretty cooked because like we can never kill, and then he just plays Gecko for the rest of the game and we lose. So I think we 100% have to start with 7 and pray he fucking respects the pudding. And then after that we play like whatever off of the Jinbei, and then we play the other 6k body. Yeah, like see here, now he just gets to take this for free. Please place on bottom. I beg you. Thank you. Like he just gets to take this so for free. Like there's literally no reason for him to not take this. The only reason would be if, God forbid, he doesn't have any babies, which just is impossible when he has 15 cards in hand.
Yeah. And I know I was praying for a pudding, but I just wasn't getting it too.
Yeah. You honestly, he was like, there were a few different spots that maybe he gets cooked by pudding. It's actually like, we needed to sequence this better for sure. We needed to do the 7 first.
Yeah.
Because if we do the 7 first, like, surely he respects the pudding this time.
Yeah, because what I start getting into is he'll get to like 9k and stuff like that, and I just can't. I can't stop it.
Yeah, no, if they get to 9k 1 life, you probably just lose like almost all of those games every time. Yeah, and we should be countering this. Yep. We're like so unbelievably cursed here. We're on what, 9 Dawn?
Yeah.
If he has Gecko, we're so cooked. What are you thinking when we get here?
It's like I should be building board,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like in my head I want to attack, but like at a 9K he's just gonna counter out so fast.
Yeah. Honestly, I think this game is like already over. Like I can't
Yeah.
even imagine like what we can do. Like he has what, 9 cards in hand and
Yeah.
he's 9K with a blocker. Like the only thing we realistically can do is like swing 5 here, he lets it die, and then we go like we're so cursed, bro. We just actually have to go like
Yeah, because the blocker I'm screwed. So I think what I should do is build board. But I think I already know right here I'm pretty much cooked.
the problem is with building board is that like these 5K bodies don't matter. Like if you look at like even the game state we're in right now, right? Like does this Jinbei actually matter? It doesn't, because there's no way for you to bring a 5, a 6, and a 5 all to 9K no matter how much Dawn you have. You can be at 10 Dawn and you still can't get 3 swings that that threaten him, right? Like if this was a 6K, like having 2 6Ks matters a little bit more because you can go like 999. But like the 5K bodies, once he gets into this 9K rhythm, actually just do not matter. Like the BY player actually cares exactly 0 once they're at 9K if you have 5K bodies on board. So it's like in this situation, we actually can't even build board. I think we literally just have to go like 5 at Kuzan, 10 at life, 10 at life blind leader effect, and like that's never winning this game, but like
Yeah.
like that's our best move. Like literally playing this Jinbei and Gecko, like I'm sure that's probably what you end up doing. We can watch it just real quick. Like the BY player is probably just gonna ignore those 2 cards like the entire game. Like he's not gonna care at all.
Yeah. See, I was focused on building that board so heavy.
Mm-hmm. And I assume you swing into this Kuzan. I can't imagine a reason why you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it said KO immune, so I couldn't swing into him, right?
No, that's not what Sabo does, brother. Sabo protects from KO effects.
So like gravity blades I can't use?
No. Gravity Blade doesn't KO. Like Rob Lucci KOs.
Oh.
Sabo
okay.
protects from KOs. Okay, so yeah, you for sure have never played a black deck then. Okay. Yeah.
No, I played plenty. I just didn't. I always thought a KO meant like I can't KO it.
No, I mean like have you yourself ever played Rob Lucci? Like have you piloted the deck?
Oh no. I
Yeah,
played
yeah.
against it.
Yeah. No, I'm saying like you haven't. Yeah. So like Sabo doesn't protect from KO. It protects from KO effects.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like it doesn't protect from like Law or Gravity Blade or by battle. It's just by effects.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. So no
Well,
worries.
learning curve.
Yeah. You know, just make sure you read the cards carefully.
Yeah.
I would say. And honestly, you should spend most of your time playing the deck that you main. Like I would say, seriously, spend like 95% of your time playing Doflamingo.
Yeah.
But it
That's
does.
That's all I do.
Yeah, I'm sure you spend 100%, and that's I get that. But definitely, you know, even if it's just like with some friends, like if they play Lucci, maybe, you know, say like, hey, let's do one game where we switch decks, just so that you can like really familiarize yourself with what they do. Also, your opponent, like, honestly, so clutch that he only went to a 7K leader here. Like, I kind of understand why he did it. It's because like he wants to be a 9K one life the rest of the game.
Yeah.
But little to his knowledge, if he was just 9k zero life the rest of the game, like we were cooked.
Yeah.
Like even if we had perfume, like he had infinite cards in hand, so like it didn't matter. These swings are kind of super weird. I'm not exactly sure why we went 7, 10, 7.
Yeah, I think I just got aggro at that point because I knew I was gonna lose.
Like here, you want to go as many swings as possible. So you want to go like 7, 7, 7 leader effect. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So you want to go 5 sevens and blind leader effect is like the correct thing to do here.
Yeah.
We kind of tweaked with this 10, but it's okay. Ooh. I'm not even sure why we're putting this sideways instead of our leader, but it's fine.
Oh, true.
He
Yeah, 'cause
honestly
just
shouldn't
thought
even be swinging at our board anyways. I guess this is fine because we get to take out the Kuzan. Oh, he saves the Kuzan. That's super weird. That's super weird that he saved the Kuzan. This BY player is playing kind of insane, actually. Yeah, and we have to counter these 5 swings. Yep, and he should just be swinging at life because, again, these little 5k bodies don't matter when he goes to 9k life.
Yeah.
Also, super weird that he has this in life. This should actually just be a Rocket Luffy, and the Rocket Luffy should just be KOing our Weevil. Like, he's kind of playing into Gravity Blade here. And he also is going to have 1 less card in hand. He's also wasting a swing. Like, he's playing this actually awful, but sometimes you get to play awful and still win. You know, it happens.
Yeah.
I mean, a big part of the card game experience is that bad players have to be able to beat good players sometimes, right?
Yeah.
If they didn't, then no one who is bad would ever play the game. They'd just lose every game and then they'd quit immediately. So like there has to be some level of variance. And also we didn't play perfect either, so like we can't even complain about the fact that they play poorly.
Yeah.
We can just turn this game off because it's like Omega over.
Yeah, it's. I think he just lets it just go.
Yeah.
He just trolls.
Yeah. Like we don't even need to see the end of that one. You just die next turn, so it literally doesn't matter. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's check out this Bonnie game. Before we hop into the next game, do you have anything you wanted to go over briefly? I know we've kind of been powering through.
Not really. I'm starting to see like what mess ups I'm doing though. That I could prevent for next time. I feel like they're just stupid little mess ups. It's not like nothing like game breaking. No, not really any big questions. I guess what my curve is just I just need to play like crazy amount.
Yeah.
Just grind for a little bit.
You just have to play, dude. Playing is like, it's such a big piece of it. It's, you know, you're just going to learn what your opponents want to do. And that's like such a big thing is knowing what your opponents want to do and win. And you just get that through repetition. And, always feel free to reach out to me. Like if you have any like questions, like if you're ever playing ranked ladder and you have like a turn that you think is interesting or whatever, always feel free to like screenshot it and ask me like, hey, what do you think is the correct play on this turn or anything like that. Like you can always reach out to me if you have any questions like that. But yeah, just play, dude. Playing and recording your own games and just watching them back can make a huge difference. And just seeing like, okay, so this is what I did. What other things could I have done? And why would they have been better? Just doing
because
that.
now even like looking back at my own stuff, I see like kind of what I did wrong.
Exactly.
So.
Right. Like play, review your losses, and like honestly, your growth can be so fast. It can be because like the thing is, and this is true of like all games, not just like One Piece. And I'm this way too. Honestly, it's even part of the reason why I started the channel was like I hate the like more like practice part of games. Like I don't know if you've ever played fighting games or anything, but like fighting games, you have to go in the lab and you have to practice your combos, right?
Yeah, like the grind stuff, I can't stand sometimes.
See, I just want to play the game, you know?
Yeah,
I just want to play.
I agree.
So like I don't love reviewing my own things, and I think most people are like that. People don't want to sit there and watch their own game. They've already experienced that game. They don't want to watch it. But honestly, genuinely, You will get better at the game so much faster if you just do that. If you just watch your own games and you think, hey, I did this. What could I have done different? My opponent did this. Could I have known they were going to do that? Like you'll literally get better so much faster. Genuinely.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks. No one likes to do it. I don't like to do it. But it actually is like, I promise you, it will actually speed you up so much. Okay, so they chose to go second. Our opponent is already throwing. They should choose to go first. What are you thinking when you see this hand?
I don't love it, but like I don't hate it because I feel like with the Sengoku, my chances are pretty nice with grabbing that Jinbei. I mean, I think I mulligan on this one.
Yeah, easy.
Like
easy
I want a mulligan and get like hopefully a Perona.
Like, something to keep in mind is like the deck is broken and it plays like 40 super broken cards. So like you're allowed to mulligan pretty greedily in this deck, I would say, a lot of the time. Like, if you don't see your hand and you're not in love with it, like, just ship it away. Especially when we see like this dog femur card, bro. Like, this thing is just gonna be dead the entire game. Like, we can just mold this super easily. Okay, and like, see, this hand is like way better. Like, we get to go Sengoku into Perona, and that's phenomenal. Oh wait. Oh wait. They chose second. I forgot that they trolled. So we still just get to Perona, which is phenomenal. They won rock paper scissors, and I gaslit myself into thinking that they chose the correct thing.
So we're supposed to go second in this?
No, we're supposed to go first. You absolutely want to go first, and the reason for that, the reason you want to go first is because the absolute scariest thing that a Bonnie player can do to you is Captain Kit, right? And the scariest thing they can do in the game is they play Cavendish on either 5 or 7, and then it sticks, and then Kid on 9, and they get to attach 1, and then they get to have the 1 for the leader, right? Like, if they get to do that on 9, it's really scary. And also, you as the aggressive deck, whereas they're the control deck, if they go first, that's like you're swinging 1 turn slower, right? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, you absolutely 100% want to go first. That said, what are you thinking when you see this deck?
I think I'm gonna leave it as is, but I'm gonna switch that buggy. Switch the buggy with the law, and then put the Jinbei right where the buggy is, so I could double Jinbei. Basically, not even play Jinbei at all, or like not for the 4 cost, but play for free.
So you want to go Boa,
Jinbei, buggy, Jinbei, law.
I love it. That's perfect.
Or not law. Yeah, it is. No, teach. Yeah, geez, teach.
Yeah, teach.
I kept saying law. Yeah.
You didn't put the buggy first, but it's okay. It probably won't come up, to be honest with you. There's actually even an argument for doing it the way that you did do it, which is on our 5-Don turn. It's very possible that we should be going leader effect and then playing Sengoku. So I actually don't even think it's awful. Or actually replaying the Perona, or both. Like, actually, honestly, the way you did it is maybe even better, because we do want to draw the teach. And there's a real reason why we want to draw the teach. As I said, the scariest thing a Bonnie can do, really like one of their only win conditions versus you, is Captain Kit. That card is actually like
I hate it. Yeah.
It's the only card that matters in their entire deck. You actually care about literally nothing else. If that card is banned, your win rate versus Bonnie is like 90%. Like, literally, maybe even higher. Like, that card is actually the only card that matters in the entire deck. That said, they don't need to see it to win. They just kind of need it to exist. Because, like, you have to play in kind of a particular way knowing that it exists. But so the reason why Teach is important is actually not because we're going to play Teach. We're going to play Teach the turn after they play Kid. Because the easiest way to out Kid most of the time, so like, first of all, if you really want to play like a crazy Bonnie hatred card,
Yeah.
The best possible card is Hound Blaze. I uploaded a video with Hound Blaze like on Friday, and I'll
Mhm.
probably post a video just talking about Hound Blaze in general. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the card.
I'm not. No.
Okay, so it bottom decks a 2-drop or lower, so ones as well. Bottom a 2, and then also give one of your leaders or characters plus 3,000 power, and it's a 2 cost. So the reason why it's so good against Bonnie, and the reason I was testing it was because it's also good in the mirror because you can bottom deck teaches.
Okay.
It actually comes up versus everything. Ultimately, I don't think it should be in the deck list, but it's like close, like it's almost good enough, like almost good enough. But the reason
Yeah.
it's really good against Bonnie is like when they play Kid, they play Rosinante next to it. And then if you're able to get rid of the Rosinante for cheap and then just swing really big into the Kid, you can kill it. So like
What's the rose though?
the Rosinante is a 2-drop blocker
Okay.
that um, if one of your rested characters would be KO'd, you can replace the KO. So
Oh.
um, it kind of gets around femur because like something you could theoretically do is just like if they had a normal blocker is you could femur swing into the Kid even if
Yeah.
they had another blocker. Like you could swing 15 into the Kid and like get past the blocker, but the Rosinante specifically says it can replace the thing being KO'd. So even if you femurs 115 at Kid, they could just replace it with Rosinante, even though the Rosinante can't technically
That's a
block.
that's a question too. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why. I think it got brought up in a tournament that I was in, like a local one.
Mm-hmm.
If I have a femur, let's say
Mm-hmm.
they do have two blockers,
Mm-hmm.
does the femur still bypass those two
Yeah.
blockers?
Yeah. It bypasses
Okay.
an infinite number of blockers.
Okay. Because someone, I don't know, the person I was playing, they were like, yeah, it doesn't work like that. Because if I have two blockers, you can bypass one, but not the second one. I was like, what are you
Nope.
talking about?
I mean, they had no idea what they were talking about.
Yeah.
They were just making stuff up. They were actually just making stuff up.
I think it worked.
Yeah, that's crazy. So like Hound Blaze is really incredible at outing the Kid. Um,
Yeah.
like technically the best card in the game to out the Kid is Red Rock, as I'm sure you know. Um,
Yeah. I don't think I run a
no,
single
no,
Red Rock.
no. Red Rock is awful. Don't run it.
Thank God.
But the Hound Blaze can out the Kid pretty easy because like you're boosting something by 3 while simultaneously bottom decking the blocker. So like it's pretty easy to swing over the Kid at that point. Um,
Yeah.
but again, we're not running Hound Blaze right now, but the idea still stands with the teach. So like what you need to do is you need to keep the teach in your hand because if you play it early, what they're going to do is they're just going to rest it and then swing over it. You need to
Yeah.
have teach and law in your hand. And the turn after they play the Kid, you play teach, use teach effect, stack law, swing like 14 into the Kid, play out the law, bounce itself, bounce the Rosinante. Because if the Kid sticks for even a single turn, almost always you just lose the game. So you need to find teach and law specifically for that.
Okay.
Also, what you want to be doing is you want to make sure that their hand doesn't get too big. So this Bonnie
Mhm.
player is obviously not very good because they chose to go second. And also they played a Searcher, right? Is that true? They played the Searcher and then rested it?
Yeah, I bounced it with the Perona.
Or just went over it with the Perona?
Yeah.
Yeah, also troll, by the way. They're not supposed to do that either. They're supposed to play the Searcher and not use its effect. So
Uh,
they also trolled themselves, right? Like they're obviously not good, right? So
yeah.
what the Bonnie player should be doing theoretically is playing around pudding as much as possible. But sometimes they'll just be bad and they'll just be ignorant and play into it like crazy.
Yeah.
And sometimes you won't see it, right? So we'll see. Maybe that happens this game. And in those situations, what you need to be doing is Bonnie is actually like the one matchup where you're supposed to be swinging at board. Like we'll talk about it more as it comes up. But the reason you swing at board in this matchup is because like their board is actually like kind of oppressive. Like whenever your opponent has like 99% of monsters in the game, after they're on board, they become vanillas, right? Like Jinbei's a vanilla, Perona's a vanilla. Like all of our cards in our hand are vanillas. But cards that aren't vanillas, like 3-cost Brook, 5-cost Cavendish, 5-cost Carrot, like those
Yeah.
cards that have the win attacking in addition to the on play are super oppressive because they get value every single turn. And those are the sorts of cards that we need to be looking to swing at more often. And Bonnie is the deck that plays the most number of cards that do that sort of thing. So it's a matchup that we look to swing at board more, both because we need to get rid of those, and also because if we just swing at life all game, life, they can go down to 0 life. And if they have infinite cards in hand and we don't have pudding and they drop kid, we lose.
Mm.
So this is the one matchup where we have to swing more at board.
Okay.
We should not be countering this. We just gave up our entire hand. That was insane work. I'm just not even going to acknowledge the fact that we did that.
I think I think I did that because I know he's gonna rest one.
We also
And
let
rest
him
it,
rest
yeah.
leader, so we're not even getting leader effect here, which I don't remember what's on top of our deck because I rambled for so long. But I imagine there's there's a Jinbei. Oh my goodness.
There's a Jinbei. Yep.
Okay, I understand why you're struggling with Bonnie. I understand why you're struggling with Bonnie. This makes a lot of sense. We just threw away our entire hand and we didn't leader effect play the best card in the game.
Yep.
Yeah, I get it. I get it now. Fair enough. You know, it happens. We're here to learn.
Appreciate it.
We are here to learn. I think you actually count out your Dawn like you're gonna go 6, 7, 7, and then he rests your leader, and you're like, oh wait. Like I think that was your plan here. I think your plan was to go 6, 7, 7. Okay, so once we get to this spot, unironically, we're supposed to play Law and bounce around 2 characters. I wouldn't have bounced the Perona personally, but I would have bounced our 2 rested things because something that Bonnie is supposed to do versus us is starve us.
Yeah.
And we played Law and just said like, hey, please swing into my board. Please swing 5 into my Jinbei and then play Carrot. I beg that you do that. Yeah. Or do it the other way. I mean, doesn't matter either way. Yeah, we're just cooked. We just lose this game almost always. Like, we've actually just gotten rid of our entire hand. Oh my god, and we kept on top. Those cards again, another example of... Do you think any of these cards... Yeah, do you think any of these cards are helping you win this game?
They're low-key bricks. I think I keep them because it's like 2K, 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 2K. I think that's why.
The Boa... Or not the Boa. The Bonnie is not trying to kill you, dog. They're trying to starve you. Like,
yeah.
2Ks are... Like... The Bonnie is thrilled.
Quick too. Yeah.
Yeah. The Bonnie is thrilled that you're drawing these 2. Oh, we didn't even. Oh no, we did. I was gonna say we didn't even set it up to draw 2K. Honestly, we probably should have fucking played the Croc here and bounced our own Perona. Oh my god! And we just kept this 3 Dawn open. Oh wait, it's because he hit a trigger. It's because he hit it. I thought that was leader effect. Okay. Yeah, I mean sometimes they bink the trigger. What can you do? I've lost games to that trigger before. It sucks.
Yeah, I don't think I beat a single Bonnie yet.
Yeah, well, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean we'll just talk about the game plan a little bit because like clearly there's like some stuff missing that you don't understand about the matchup. The Bonnie wants to starve you, so like don't be giving up infinite cards. Like it's all about value in this matchup. You want to go as plus as possible while also threatening them for pudding, while also swinging at these characters that are super annoying. Jozu is super good. If they play out 2 5s like this and you gravity blade them, that's like a huge swing. Really?
You said go plus up. You said go plus up on them. What do you mean, like plus up in the hand? Like have a higher hand or have a higher board?
Both. As many cards that you can do that generate you more cards, because they're gonna starve you. They're gonna like uber starve you. Like Bonnie is the deck that starves you. Bonnie and Enel are like the 2 decks that starve you the most. Honestly, maybe even Bonnie more so than Enel. Like they'll like keep you at 5 life until forever. It's like
Yeah.
no players at least sometimes go aggressive.
Mhm.
Um, Bonnie players like actually will just be content freezing and swinging at your board for the entire game, because they know that their win condition is like, I'm gonna go low on life and have all these big characters on board, but my big characters are gonna make it so you can't do any damage, and I'm gonna put you in
Yeah.
a situation of checkmate. Like I'm gonna put you in a
Mhm.
situation where I have like this kid and you can't get over the
Mhm.
kid, or you're gonna have like only two characters and your leader, and then I'm gonna chain 10 drop Doffies and you'll never get to swing. Like they'll just do something like that. So like they super uber starve. This is a super weird Rosinante, but it's fine, I guess. Um, yeah, we just gave like infinite cards on that one swing for like no reason.
And it
We
just
like
put me up, down. Yeah.
Yeah, and like this Perona just found like all cards that do not matter. Um, yeah, we're like, honestly, I don't even know how we even begin to try to win this game. Like I think we're actually just cooked. It's kind of cute that we have the Croc to bounce their Rosinante at least. There's no way you clicked the effect and don't bounce something. Okay, good. Okay, good. I'm fine with bouncing our own Perona. Like we have the extra Dawn, like we can use it to look at our top. But like this Jinbei just feels so out of place. Like
So out of
we
place.
didn't even put the pudding anywhere close to our deck. Like for some reason
Oh, I did put it.
it's underneath our femur, which is kind of crazy. Um,
Yeah.
like I don't know. He's stuck both a Rosinante and two 5 drops. Like, and we have no cards in hand. Like he's just gonna take our board this turn, one way or another, right? He's either gonna freeze all of it with 10 Doffy, or he's gonna swing over some of it, and then play Kid, and then like our board doesn't matter if he has Kid, especially when he has like infinite cards in hand. I think this game is more of a matchup. Oh wow, this is like, you're so happy he played this. Like he could have played things that were like 10,000 times worse.
Ugh.
He should not even be doing this, by the way. This 6 swing at your life is crazy troll. He should actually just swing at this. Like he doesn't, like he's not really at risk of anything. Like that was a pretty troll swing by him, honestly. Oh, and he missed off this. That's, yeah, but really this is just like a matchup misunderstanding from you. Like it's not even
Yeah.
like, it's nothing more than that. It's just like you don't understand the matchup, and like,
Yeah, I don't at all for
yeah.
that.
Um
Okay. So I guess the number one game plan for this, like what is that against Bonnie?
yeah, so we want to go as wide and as plus as possible. So like Weevils
Yeah.
are really great. Obviously
Hmm.
Jinbeis are always phenomenal. Boas are really good.
Hmm.
We want to have a teach and a law in our hand going into their, once they play Kid. We
Yeah.
also generally want to putting them the turn before they play Kid.
Oh,
We
because they're
want,
probably trying to find that. Okay.
yeah, because
Or they're
they're,
bank on it the whole time.
yeah, they're banking on it the whole time. We want to be swinging at these 5 drops,
Yeah.
because these 5 drops are going to get infinite value if you allow them to stay.
Mhm.
Jozu is like superb in this matchup. Gravity Blade, if they don't play around it, is superb. That play that I talked about with the Law and the Teach,
Yeah.
we can also do with Crocodile. So keep that in mind. Like a lot of the times you'll have situations where like you Perona and you can predict the turn that they're gonna play Kid, and you can stack it so that you'll just bink a Croc or a Law off the top of the deck, and then that way you can swing, 14 if it's Law or 13 if it's Croc, and then like bounce the blocker, because again they'll have that little 2 drop blocker. Um, and yeah, and something also that's super important is, there's going to be turns where they're at like 1 life, and you could turn your entire board sideways,
Hmm.
But sometimes you actually have to just leave one of them active, because if you don't leave one of them active, you can lose to them chaining 10 drop Doffies.
Uh,
So that's something to keep in mind. That's like a little bit more advanced and nuanced, but just when you're in those later stages of the game, just something to be conscious about is
yeah.
like, hey, if I actually turn my entire board sideways here, will I just lose to 10 drop Doffy?
Because what does Ted Drop Doffy do again?
It freezes three things. So either leader or characters.
Okay.
So like there's times where they're only at like 1 or 0 life, but it doesn't matter if they're at 0 life if literally your entire board is frozen.
So they
Um,
can't freeze an active player.
no, you can't freeze. It's only rested things.
Only rested. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, so that's something to keep in mind. Honestly, like it sounds like a fair bit of your learning curve right now is just knowing what decks do. I
Yeah.
would say, you know, just watching a lot of content, watching people play of all the different decks is definitely going to be helpful for that. Also, just like if you haven't actually just like, I would say there's 8 decks in the meta right now that you have to know what they do. Doffy, Shanks, Lucci, Ploofy, Bonnie, BY, uh, Blackbeard, and Anel. Those are like the only 8 decks that exist right now that matter at all. And honestly, some of those decks less so than others, like Bonnie. I didn't play anyone today who was on Bonnie in the Treasure Cup. I also didn't even play anyone who said they played Bonnie. Like Bonnie
Uh,
is like the 8th most popular deck right now. Like no one's really playing Bonnie. So like
I think the
it's
one that's gaining traction like around me is Rob Lucci. I'm still a
yeah.
little like I beat them pretty consistent, but I don't
Mhm.
know. I think I don't know how I've been
Mhm.
beating them.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you sent any Lucci's, did you?
No, I didn't. I didn't lose any Luccis. That's
Okay.
why.
Yeah. So
Like
fair enough.
I have a win one, but that's not really gonna help.
Yeah. Um I mean, wins can still be worth going over to, but I think losses are generally better. Um,
Yeah.
so like Bonnie is like, so of those 8, like Bonnie is probably the least important, but
Yeah.
like just go through those 8 decks and just actually genuinely read all those cards.
Okay. Yeah.
Like
I
I
mean,
know it,
shit. I'll do it.
I mean it's not that interesting, but like actually just genuinely read them and like try and think to yourself in the context of that deck, why do they play that card? And if you're unsure about anything, like I don't know, let's say you read this 2 drop Rosinante. Like I already explained to you why they played this 2 drop Rosinante. It's for the kid. But in
Yeah.
any of the decks, just as an example, you read this 2 drop Rosinante and you think to yourself, why do they play this card specifically? Like why do they play this card instead of another card that could be similar to it? And you're not sure? Like seriously, feel free to send me a DM about any of the 8 decks. I know what all of them do. I know
Yeah.
why they play all the different cards. Like feel free to reach out to me and I'll tell you exactly why they play that specific card and why it's good in that deck. Because
Hmm.
sometimes you'll read a card and you'll be like, this doesn't even seem good. Why do they play it? Um,
Yeah.
and just knowing why they play those cards and what cards they play is really important. Another super important thing, you should know how many 2Ks each deck plays. Like if I asked you right now, how many 2Ks does Rob Lucci play? Would you be able to tell me?
Not a single clue.
Yeah, see, you need to know that. And
Yeah.
the reason why you need to know that is it gives you a really educated guess on what numbers to swing. We haven't really gotten to see a lot of that in these games, unfortunately. I wish we could have talked about that more because it is
Yeah.
really important. But like if your opponent only has like not that many cards in hand and we can look through their trash and say like, "Oh, there's already 4 2Ks in here and this deck only plays 8." I can actually swing sixes here. Because if I swing six first, he probably doesn't have a 2K, and he's going to have to give me double 1K. Like, sure, I could swing 7 here,
Yeah.
but I just don't think he has it. Like, he probably
So you're
doesn't,
not
and if he
playing it. Yeah.
doesn't, it's a
So you're not playing
crazy
a guessing
punish.
game. Yeah.
Yeah. So, finding out how many 2Ks a deck plays, and just genuinely knowing what all of their cards do and why they play them is really important. So I would just go through and just of those 8 decks, um, just read the cards, man. Like it's really important to know what they do.
Okay.
Like half the battle is knowing what your deck does and what you want to accomplish, and the
Yeah.
other half is knowing your opponent, right? You want to know
Mhm.
them better than they know. And obviously at the super highest level, that's impossible because like if you sit across like Holden Miller on Lucci, like you're not going to know more about Lucci than Holden is going to know about Lucci, but you know, you can know almost the same amount. You can know everything that he can do. Um, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's what happened and made me like kind of get more aggressive in the actually learning the game. I did my first tournament and the first it was what only 3 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
The first one it was a Nika Robin, smoked them pretty quick, and I was feeling pretty hot. I went
Yeah.
to a Shanks battle, and I just felt like cards just were not falling.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I played it perfect, just the cards weren't falling, and then I played a Nami, and he's like, and the guy was like kind of hyping it up. He's like, "Oh, like your win rate's really, really good." I was like, "Okay, like
Mm-hmm.
hopefully." Never played a Nami before, and like they beat me at like the last second. But now knowing it, it's like I played Nami in the sim multiple times. I haven't lost since.
Yeah.
So it's really understanding the card, like
The
what
cards.
each deck
Yeah.
does.
And
Yeah.
there's some decks that are more skill check than others. Like
Mhm.
to be honest, like beating Lucci isn't that much of a skill check. Like Lucci
Okay.
plays a pretty reasonable game where like, oh, he just wants to remove your characters and he like has a pretty basic leader effect that isn't anything too crazy. The
Yeah.
other leaders like Bonnie is a skill check deck. We've already seen that this game.
Yeah.
Like you have to remember to swing your things in the correct order, and if you don't, you just will get so crazy punished, right? So Bonnie
Yeah.
less so than some of the others, but Bonnie is for sure a skill check deck. It's like, hey, if you don't know my cards and what they're gonna do, you're gonna get crazy punished.
Yeah.
Um, Anel is like the number one classic example of a skill check deck. Because if you don't know
Mhm.
what you're doing versus Anel, you actually will just never win regardless of what deck you play. Like they will
Yeah,
actually they'll
I've
just
never
troll you
won against
forever.
Linnell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be fair, Doffy does have a hard matchup into Anel, but it is winnable.
Yeah.
I think there's 3 different videos where I try to go pretty in depth on the strategy into Anel, so definitely check those
Yeah,
out if you haven't.
I know you just uploaded a recent one. Haven't seen that, but I think there was 2 other ones or one other one that I've watched.
Yeah, so there's 3 total. If you haven't watched all 3, definitely watch all 3.
Yeah.
Um, and then, so Anel is the classic example. BY is probably the number one offender for the last like 6 months, where it's like if you don't know what you're doing versus BY, they'll just roll over you.
Yeah.
And like those are like the main skill check decks. Like a lot of decks try to play like an honest game where it's like, look, I'm gonna play the game and you're gonna play the game, but like you don't necessarily have to know what I'm doing. You just have to kind of make like fairly decent decisions. But like those decks in particular, Nami's also the super classic example. Super classic
Yeah.
example where it's like if you don't know what you're doing versus those decks, you actually just lose every time. It doesn't even matter what deck you're playing. Like it doesn't matter how good of a
Yeah.
matchup you have. If you don't know what you're doing, they're just gonna hard punish you.
Yeah, I read like one guide on it, and it's like you have to swing for 6, like 7s and 9s is like the sweet spot. Like I think in the tournament, I was swinging like 6s, I was swinging 8s. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but then I read the guide too, and yeah, it helped a lot.
Well, 8s are awful. Almost never swing 8. 6s are actually pretty good.
Hmm.
We don't necessarily have to talk too much about Nami right now, but don't rule
Yeah.
out 6s. 6s are actually pretty good. 5s are awful.
Yeah.
Don't swing 5s. 6s and 7s are the ideal numbers.
Okay.
9s are good too. 9s are good too.
Cool.
Okay, I don't think we need to watch the rest of this game, to be honest. I think you're actually just like turbo cooked.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
super
oh,
cooked.
you actually do hit. Oh my god, this is a skill check, by the way. You did not read Basil Hawkins.
I definitely didn't.
You
Why
did.
would?
Well, so Basil Hawkins has the effect where if he would be removed from
Yeah.
play by one of your opponent's effects, you may instead rest one of your opponent's characters.
Nice.
So you're gonna try and Gravity Blade, which also, by the way, you tried to Gravity Blade the Rosinante instead of like one of these things. My guess is you were like, I need to kill him like this turn, so maybe that's why you did it. But like, Yeah, you try to gravity blade this Basil Hawkins, and all it does is rest one of your attackers.
Great.
Yeah. So seriously,
Yeah, I think
please.
that's why I was clicking on another one and it was not clicking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, definitely read all the cards in those 8 decks. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so I think we have gone past the 2 hours. We can do.
We definitely have.
We can definitely, if there's anything you want to talk about briefly, we could do that real quick. I'm not like too stingy on the time, but
Yeah.
um,
Honestly, not really. You definitely showed me a lot that I definitely want to apply. Well, I'll probably run a lot tonight.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, no, I'm good. I don't need to see the other one. I think the other one was just a other L that I had. For some reason, when I tried uploading 5 losses, I feel like I kind of went. I was cooking a little bit.
Hell yeah.
So I was like, wow, the one time I'm cooking, because I think before I was on like a 10 losing streak, and I was like, all right, like fuck this game at this point. But yeah, no, honestly, I can't say enough. Thanks, man. I really do appreciate it. And definitely like with the content though, like watching your videos, I've noticed even like just playing like my brother and stuff like that, I've taken it to like another level. So definitely want to say thanks for uploading and stuff like that and really enjoy the content.
Yeah, awesome. I appreciate that, man. And seriously, feel free to reach out to me anytime about like literally any sort of questions or whatever. I love the game. I love talking about the game. So like if you just watch a video on my channel or you play a game or just anything, like seriously feel free to reach out to me
Cool.
anytime. And I'd love to hear about your progress as well. Like if you feel like you're making really good progress or you do really well in a local or a treasure cup or anything, I'd always love to hear updates about that sort of thing.
Cool. No, 100%. Yeah, I will. So,
And your name's Chris, is that correct?
yeah, Chris.
All right, yeah. Thank you so much for your time, Chris, and I hope you have a great rest of your night.
Cool. You too.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Take it easy, man.
You too.